but with a purpose. The people showing love, but I ain't broken through the surface. Never had a chance, wasn't no name. All season started working on my post game. Now I seen the readers hit the phone when they alone. I break them off and send them home. Got a game with no shame. Saying I'm a flop, that's an insult. Chill. Rolling up a J in a raw pace.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. This wonderful Tuesday evening before the Ohio blizzard could possibly hit us in tomorrow. We're here. We're back with Mike Ash.
John.
Drew is not with us. Drew is not with us. This evening he does have COVID. So he's not here this evening.
He's not here.
No, he's not.
You good, Mooney? You good? Yeah. We're going to get this under control here. Sooner or later, we'll have a perfect start to our show. Mooney had the wrong mic plugged in. So
Mike was on the wrong mic.
Yeah, Mike was on the wrong mic. Yeah, we're here today. We got a very, very sensitive subject. We're going to start with here. It is a breaking news about, I don't know, maybe you guys seen about a half hour ago tops. The whole Brian Flores filing a lawsuit against the NFL based off discrimination because he is black. It's sort of a sensitive subject. If anybody has looked into it, he's claiming that what was it? The Giants? Is that who he's going after first? Yes, the Giants.
The Broncos. And the Dolphins.
The Giants hired a coach and only brought him in to sort of cover the Rooney Rule. I don't know.
Based off information that Bill Belichick said that Brian Daboll was already going to be hired.
Yeah. I don't know how you guys feel about this situation, but I mean, we might actually catch some hell for this. I am totally against what Brian Flores is doing here. I think every time, I don't know if you guys feel the same way I do, but I think every time a black American seems to not get his way because he was, in people's eyes, that they don't understand why he was fired, but he was. Oh, well, it happens. Lots of us lose jobs and have no reason why we lose a job. And now he's not getting his way, or now he's not being rehired by somebody else. I don't know how do you guys feel about that? I mean, how does our fans feel about it? How do you guys feel about it?
John, how do you feel about it?
Well, you're right. It is a touchy subject. We'll probably catch some backlash, but I don't. I'm trying to read a comment here from.
How do you feel? How do you feel about it?
I was trying to read Drew's comment.
How do you feel about it when you go with it?
I don't think it's right to put out a statement, supposedly text, that Bill Belichick sent you, and he hasn't even made a statement to say I'm backing him, or yeah, that happened or not. I don't think it's cool to use other people's names. I think it's.
Well, they said it was Flores' lawyer. I'm pretty sure put that statement out there.
Don't think it's wrong. As far as we went through this with Steve Nash and the Nets, okay? The Nets knew they wanted Steve Nash. They knew they wanted him, okay? So that's why they went after him right away. They didn't hire anybody else. They didn't interview anybody else. Well, in the NFL, you have the Rooney Rule. You have to interview a minority. So even if you know that minority is not going to get the job, even if they had their mind made up that Brian Daboll was going to be their coach, you still have to give Brian Flores a fair shot, fair interview, which I'm sure they did. And then they didn't pick him because they already wanted Brian Daboll. It's got nothing to do with race. It's got nothing to do with color. They just felt that Brian Daboll would bring something to their team that they needed, other than Brian Flores. I don't see why that's wrong.
And Brian Daboll was interviewed last year, too, so it ain't like this is the first set of interviews that he's ever had, right? Correct?
Right. That's true. The Denver thing, he wants to say they didn't take it seriously because he claims that John Elway and a couple other management people showed up to the interview and they were hungover because they were drinking the night before. So
he's saying this was in 2019. Yeah, Brian
Yeah,
Flores said Broncos
the Broncos one was
in.
when before he got the Dolphins job. Yes, and he's saying they didn't take it serious, and he's saying because
time out. Jenny said, "What about the Dolphins wanting to give him $100,000 for any game they lose so they get hired?" There's no proof of that. That's just him saying that. That's a he said she said type of thing. There's no proof of that. You know, this guy, if that's the case, if they did that, why did he not come out with that when they first fired him? Why wait till now? Why now now paint a bad picture of this team? They fired you because you could not win games. You lost more games than you won. In my eyes, that's not a good coach. You're gone. You know, if he would have won games, the whole point of the NFL is to win games. He wasn't doing it. He also said that they didn't want Tua. He didn't want Tua. He wanted Watson at one point in time. So how can he turn it and say, well, they didn't want Tua and Tua was my guy? Well, Tua wasn't your guy in the beginning of the season. You wanted Watson.
Well, they did have a trade set up, but Watson couldn't get cleared.
Right. And I'm not gonna say he's a winning coach because he's not. Obviously, his record doesn't. But the last 2 years, he's been over 500 with Miami, so he's improved. And I just feel like whatever reason they wanted to let him go, they wanted to let him go. Just the same thing with Lynn over in the Chargers. They wanted to let him go, and he had a winning season. They felt that he wasn't the guy that was going to get him to the Super Bowl, which is hot. That's the goal. Okay, fine. That's fine. Don't turn it into a race issue and say, well, they fired me because I'm black. They didn't hire me because I'm black. He showed up to an interview drunk and hungover because I'm black. And that's why he didn't take it serious. I don't think that's it at all. And I think it's wrong to pull this race card. And then there's something else that you guys might not have saw. And I'm going to pull this up. I saw this and I couldn't. It baffles me. This is what he said. He said, these are some of the areas that the NFL needs to touch on and make better. Increase influence of black individuals in hiring. They have a Rooney Rule set up. They already do that. What are you talking about? Increase the objectivity of hiring, terminating GMs, head coaches, and coordinators. Based off color? Because that's what he's making it. That statement there is saying based off color. So you're literally feeding the racism in there because you want to make sure black people need more jobs. And I'm not saying anything about black, white, whatever. It's whoever's most qualified. It's not race. Here's the other one. He's got 3 more. Increase the number of black coordinators. So you're telling me that just because this guy's black, he should automatically get the job, even though the white guy or the Mexican guy or the Chinese guy is more qualified. That's what you're telling me? Because that don't make sense to me. So I'm going to hire a guy who I know this guy could actually do a better job.
Well, it's all schematic. It's all what your head coach, what he wants to run. Right. You can't bring an offensive coordinator in and say, well, we need to hire him, whether he be black, Mexican, Italian, whatever he is, if he's a minority of some sort. If he doesn't push the scheme that you want to run or fit the bill that you want to do in order to be successful, you can't hire him. There are plenty of black Americans that are offense or defensive coordinators in the NFL. They're all getting interviews. Byron Leftwich is still in the running for the Jacksonville job. Yep. Now, whether or not they hire him, I don't know. I don't care. It's what they feel. It's their business. They're allowed to run their business however they want to run their business. Mm-hmm. There are rules set in place. Brian Flores, and I don't mean no disrespect to anybody. Brian Flores is butthurt because he got fired, which we all were shocked. I'm not going to say he deserved to be fired, but the Miami Dolphins wanted him out for some odd reason. Obviously, my personal belief was the Dolphins owners liked Tua, even though they were set to trade for Watson, but they had some type of disagreement on Tua, and ultimately the Dolphins decided we're going to keep Tua. We can find another head coach. Will that bite him in the ass? Could very well. But if it doesn't, oh well. Like, there are numerous, we talked about this earlier, there are numerous black head coaches that have gotten jobs and been successful in jobs or not successful. Hugh Jackson, and kept around for years past what he should have been. Hugh Jackson was 1-15, what, twice?
Yeah, and he went 0-16.
0-16 and 1-15, and the dude got another year. Mm-hmm. Marvin Lewis was a mediocre head coach in Cincinnati. Yes, he got him some playoff bursts, but for the most part, they hovered around 500. He kept his job for forever.
16 years, I believe.
You have Mike Tomlin, one of the best coaches we've ever seen. The dude has been absolutely phenomenal as a head coach.
That's my point. You go out and do your job. You do what you're supposed to. You get this team to the playoffs, to the Super Bowl like Tomlin, and it don't matter what color your skin is, what your belief is. If you're winning this organization games and winning them money, they're going to keep you around.
Yeah.
If you're not winning games, you're not making them money, they're not keeping you around. Like me, I hire guys to come work for me. Well, if they're not making me money, I'm not keeping around. I don't care what your beliefs are, what color your skin is. You ain't making me money, you're gone.
Yeah, that's
the whole point of working for somebody is to make them money. And if they ain't doing that, then there's no point in having them around.
I'm going to try and go through this really quick. It's just one paragraph. Flores claimed that Stephen Ross, the owner of the Dolphins, invited him on his yacht in 2019. He wanted to recruit a prominent quarterback. Flores refused, so not to violate the NFL rules on tampering. And then in 2020, he was informed that the quarterback was conveniently arriving at the marina for an impromptu meeting on his yacht again. Flores again refused the meeting and left the yacht. Afterwards, Flores claims he was treated with disdain and held out as someone who was non-compliant and difficult to work with.
Okay, time.
So how come he didn't bring if they're breaking rules and regulations? Why didn't he bring this up then?
Well, why did he do it when he first got fired? Why do it now? One, two. If that was happening then, why did he not resign? Okay, if he didn't do what they wanted to then, why did they wait a whole another year or two before they fired him?
Almost 2 years.
Yeah, before they fired him. Makes no sense.
Why? If he gets a head coaching job for New York, because this is what he seems like he's the most butthurt by is he got a random text from Belichick and it was the wrong person, which maybe it's true, maybe it's not. I don't know, but yet now you want to bring all this stuff up. So if the Giants were to hire you, you'd have stayed fucking quiet.
Mm-hmm.
He would have never spoke a word.
I 100% believe that.
So I don't understand.
Because he got passed over, and he's all butthurt about it. And then instead of just saying, "Well, I feel like I was more qualified for that Giants job, I deserved it," no, he wanted to pull the race card and say it's because I'm black is the reason I didn't get the job. And that's so much bullshit. I'm tired of hearing that anymore.
Maybe you are more qualified for the job, but obviously the Giants don't want you. That happens. Walmart of all people. I remember this. This will never leave my mind, and this is random as fuck. I applied for Walmart 12 years ago. They told me I did not get the job because I was overqualified. How the fuck can you be overqualified to work at Walmart?
You're too good at bagging.
Like I ain't never worked. I ain't never worked in a superstore in my life, and somehow I'm overqualified.
Well, maybe you should have went to Aldi's.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, I always remember that, and at this point,
that is weird.
I probably should have filed a lawsuit.
That'd be like Belichick going to get a job, and they'd be like, you're too qualified for us, man.
Yeah, you've done way too well.
We're just the Browns.
You know?
We got to go somewhere else. We'll get Brian Flores.
I'm not, and that's like we said, we're not out here trying to. I hope people that are listening to us do not think we're trying to push white supremacy or a race thing here. We just feel that something is fishy about this situation, and I do not like how all of a sudden how all of a sudden Brian Flores wants to just start throwing all this dirt out there because he didn't get his way.
Yeah, for me personally, it's not racism. I'm tired of them bringing up the racism. Don't tell me you didn't get a job just because you're black. There are plenty of black head coaches. There's been black head coaches, coordinators, special teams. You name it. People. I mean, there have been black coaches in the NFL. So don't pull this black racism bullshit with me anymore. You just didn't get the job because they didn't want you. Period. That's it. If I go to apply for a job somewhere and they turn me down, I'm not going to say, "Well, they turned me down because I'm white." Of course, I can't say that because I'd be shit on for it. But even if I did, it makes no sense. You're just not qualified for that position.
Because if we sit and think about it, a black offensive coordinator won a Super Bowl last year. This year, a black defensive coordinator's in the Super Bowl, with Morris being defensive coordinator for the Rams.
Tony Dungy, first black head coach to ever win a Super Bowl.
I mean, there's tons of success and there's tons of non-success, but there's also the same thing for any other race out there. There's always tons of success and then tons of no success. So tons of head coaches get hired and fired on a daily basis. A lot of them we don't agree with, and a lot of them we do agree with.
Like what is the most longest tenured head coaches, black head coaches in the NFL right now? Mike Tomlin. John said it. Mike Tomlin has a job. You know why? Because he wins. Dennis Green, good coach. Couldn't stay consistently a winner. Got fired. Herm Edwards, fired. All these guys couldn't stay consistent, but they kept getting opportunities because Herm coached more than one team. Dennis Green coached more than one team. So, and then like you said, Marvin Lewis was there in Cincinnati. How long did you say? 18 years?
16 years.
16 years.
Yeah.
Mike Tomlin's been there 18 years. No, he's 16 years.
Bobby said Flores has to realize this won't hurt billionaires at all.
No, it won't.
No, it won't. Not at
No,
all.
it won't.
I mean, the NFL's fighting back, and granted, we don't know the full story. All we know is what we're being told, and what we're just not understanding is why were you hiding all of this dirt until something didn't go your way. To me, it's like a blackmail type of thing. You either hire me, or I'm bringing it out. I'm bringing it out to the world, what you guys do and what you do behind the scenes.
I'm going to say, and this is where I might catch some flack, but it's kind of, for me, it's the same thing. It's the same thing as an athlete being in the NFL, NBA, MLB, famous actors, and then 30 years later, somebody comes forward and says, they raped me 30 years ago. Well, what are you waiting 30 years to say that for? And I'm saying Brian didn't wait that long, but he waited 2-3 years before, hey, now I'm going to come out with all this dirt that was going on behind the scenes with Dolphins and them. Why? Because I believe you're right. If he got hired with the Giants job, we're not hearing anything about this. It ain't coming up.
And if he had so much balls to tell his owner or his GM, no, I'm not getting on there because that's violation.
Bobby said,
Then why not stand up for it then?
Why not resign at that
remember,
point?
Right.
We made the comment about Green, Bobby. The Bears are who we thought they are. Same thing. He said we play to win the game, and he's exactly right. I mean, that's what we do it. That's why they play it.
They let him off the hook.
Is to win the game. Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know. I know that's going to lead us right in. I think that we've touched enough on that situation. I don't really want to drag it on. We just wanted to sort of come out and sort of, I guess, give our little bit of an input. So I mean, we're gonna move in. I do got something for you. We're gonna go into the couple of the hirings we've had over the weekend for coaching hirings. I don't know how you guys feel about the Josh McDaniels hire for the Raiders. I mean,
I don't agree with it. And the reason why I feel like their interim coach deserved the job. I think he proved it. I mean, they won 10 games under him.
I don't know what is that rich.
Yeah, I think they said they won 10 games under him, got him to the playoffs, and they didn't give him a chance. I think he deserved it more than anybody. I think he proved that he could do the job.
I felt the same way when Cleveland had Greg Williams step up the rest of that year after they fired Hugh Jackson, and then they didn't make him the coach the next year when we won with Greg. Yeah, I feel if you got a guy that's already in your organization and steps in and wins, why would you? I mean, why not? Why can't he get the job? He already proved with that team he can win. So why not just let him take the team over? Is it because Josh McDaniels is a name?
And that's what Bobby just said. They wanted a name. And that could be.
He wasn't a horrible coach for Denver.
Well, no, I'm saying he wasn't. No,
Yeah.
I'm not saying he was.
McDaniels. Oh yeah.
I didn't say. Yeah, no, he was. I think he is a good coach, but like he said, if you got a guy that's already in the organization and knows those players and has some continuity with them, what do you want to get away with that for?
When you've seen the love the players put out for him, but Carr did it, and there was players putting love out for him. So it makes you wonder how these players are going to react.
I get they're saying, but at the same time, I think the Raiders are thinking maybe Josh McDaniels unleashes the best of Derek Carr.
Here's my question.
I mean, I think that could be looking at, well, we only got, how many more prime years do you have of Derek Carr?
I mean, that could be.
And then he is an offensive genius. He did literally, didn't they go, 9-7? Was it they go 9-7 with him, and he had Tim Tebow as his quarterback?
Yeah, they did, yeah.
So
Tim Tebow was great, man. It's an elite quarterback, man.
So, I mean, he won with him. Now you're giving him Derek Carr, who I think is a very underrated quarterback in the league. He might not be a great quarterback.
Well, and Bobby just made a point. He's in his last year of his contract, and he is. I think if they surround him with a another receiver, and some weapons, I think he stays. And you got Adams out there, which I think Green Bay's going to tag him, so he ain't going nowhere.
But he has to sign it, though, too.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to stay on it. He has to sign it.
Be an awful lot of money to turn down for 1 year.
But could he jump ship and jump over to the Raiders?
He could.
The Raiders could decide, I'm going to pay the bank and go get Adams and team him up with Carr.
Mm-hmm.
There are a couple more. I mean, we obviously talked about Brian Daboll. We don't know a whole lot about him. Obviously, he was the Bills' offensive coordinator, wasn't he? Ain't that what Brian Daboll was their offensive coordinator? Yeah. So I mean, you can see why.
Bobby said Carr is a Brown in 2023.
I mean, the fuck Browns fans will probably like that.
I wouldn't mind that at all.
Well, so we can see why they hired Brian Daboll. I mean, he has Daboll, however you say it. I mean, what he's done with Josh Allen and that Bills offense is spectacular. So, I mean, I guess he in some people's eyes earned that right. Minnesota Vikings is something I wanted to talk about. Now, they are rumored to have, I'm pretty sure, given Jim Harbaugh his second interview, correct? Or he's getting ready to get his second interview?
I think he's getting ready to get it, I think.
So let's just say he goes there or he doesn't. Say Minnesota decides to go elsewhere. What does this do to Jim Harbaugh in Michigan? Does it tarnish his coaching ability at Michigan? Do people look at him like you were going to bail on us after a solid season, finally, and then now you completely were just, hey, I'm ready to dip out?
No, I don't think so. And the reason why I say it, because, Drew made that. He thinks that, he came when he did everything he could do in Michigan. And Drew said he felt that way. He wouldn't be upset if Harbaugh, and Drew, we know he's a big Michigan fan. I agree with that. I mean, yeah, they didn't win the national championship. They didn't make it. But he's still a great coach for them. They can't fault him. It'd be like us going and quitting a job to go get better money or stepping up in promotion.
Right.
They can't fault him for wanting to do that. Fans can't be upset because that's a profession. That's a profession. That's what happens. You get better jobs, you get promoted, you move up. So I don't think so.
I don't think as far as college, he's a great coach. He only had 1 year where he actually beat Ohio State, made the playoffs, and then got put out. Other than that, yes, he's had winning seasons, but I wouldn't say that's a great coach. And two, I don't see where they say he's accomplished what he wanted to. He didn't win a title, and I think that's his ultimate goal in Michigan was to bring a title. So I think it's unfinished business. The thing that gets me though is that he had that interview with the Vikings.
Second one's tomorrow, Jenny said, and
it was on National Signing Day.
Huh?
Second one.
Or is it tomorrow. National? Is it
second interview?
Okay.
National Signing Day. Was that signing day or was it recruiting? Is when Harbaugh did this on. So he didn't spend time recruiting these guys and talking to these guys. He went and had an interview in the NFL. So I think that leaves a bad taste in Michigan's mouth. Like, you weren't even here on one of our biggest days for recruiting. You passed up on it to go do an interview. My opinion is no matter whether it's the Vikings or not, he's gone. I don't think he's going to stay in college. Why would you do that? It makes no sense to me.
Well, Michigan ain't got no one to hire, so I think they would legitimately, if he doesn't get hired, I think they stay with him. They don't have nothing. He's still under contract.
No, I'm not talking about Michigan. I'm talking about him personally. I'm saying, of course, they would keep him, but I think he's gone.
Oh, I think he's coaching either, whether it be in the NFL or it's back in Michigan.
No, I'm saying if he don't get the NFL, he'll go back to Michigan. Still leaves a bad taste in his mouth. On one of the biggest college days, you weren't there. You didn't do anything.
Drew said he's been out recruiting, so that's what Drew said about him.
Well, yeah, he's recruited all these players. They've all just National Signing Day. I mean, it's just when all these people decide where they're going to sign.
It was
or
yesterday,
who they're
the
sign
second
for.
Wednesday. Yeah. No, it's tomorrow.
I think he's.
It's not even. It hasn't even happened yet. Wednesday is tomorrow. His second interview is tomorrow, so it would happen. So his first interview didn't take. Yeah, it's the second one.
I think he's gone. I think he's in the NFL, and I really think the Vikings are probably going to hire him.
So one other one. Do you think Nathaniel Hackett lures Aaron Rodgers away? They said that was his number one goal, was to try to get Aaron Rodgers to follow him to Denver.
Well, the good thing is if Aaron does, Devontae doesn't sign that franchise tag, then he could be a Bronco.
Well, you look what Denver did, and they did good this year with Teddy Bridgewater. They didn't do awful.
No, they were a competitive team.
Yeah, so you give them Rodgers?
I don't think they need Devontae Adams.
I just think because they go together is what I'm saying. Plus, them being an offensive coordinator being hired, why not?
I do know Rodgers
the
said
weapon?
there's two people that he wants to go with him, and I didn't get a chance. There is two players, and I'm assuming Adams is probably one of them. I didn't get a read. It didn't actually specifically
Could you
say.
imagine Adams with Judy and Sutton?
Be one nasty
Be unfair.
offense.
That'd be unfair.
Oh, they would be. They're going to be good if they just land him anyways. They just land more of a starting caliber quarterback instead of. I don't have a problem with Bridgewater. I don't think he has what it takes to be able to take you anywhere.
I think after his injury there in Minnesota, it changed him as a quarterback. I feel like he was better before the injury.
Yeah, he's just captain check down. All he ever wants to do, he doesn't take shots. Yeah, he's more worried about his completion percentage.
Did someone say Harbaugh's hiding it?
No.
Hiding
Because
what?
Drew said he hasn't been hiding anything. Everyone knows what he's doing. So I didn't know if someone.
Oh no, I think he's just saying that, like Michigan wouldn't know. I think is probably what Drew is referring it to. So do you guys think he's able to lure him away? A lot of
I
the
do.
The Packers organization thinks he comes back.
I guess it depends who he's got a better relationship with.
I'd imagine he has a great relationship with Hackett because his relationship with Green Bay is crap.
That's what I think. I think he'll end up in Denver because he was already wanting to leave Green Bay before. He talked about at the beginning of the season, and he played, and he's talking about at the end of the season. And now his coordinator goes to Denver, gets the head coaching job. I could see him being a Bronco now, just for that fact. I don't think he wants to be in Green Bay. He's already been doing it for the last year or two that he doesn't want to be there. So
I think
now it's a golden opportunity.
I would almost think he would have to have a better situation because his situation in Green Bay is great. And I think he's going to hold off. I think he's probably going to want to see what Green Bay does. Are they able to get Devontae Adams re-signed? Are they able to keep some of these other pieces? And then I think Aaron Rodgers could possibly say, well, I mean, they kept them all here. Why don't I sign? He could continue the rest of his career on 1-year deals. It isn't far-fetched to think he signs 1-year deals for the next 3 or 4 years for big money every single time.
I don't think he'll do that. I mean, it's possible, but I've never seen that in football. It's usually 2 or 3 years. But
All right, but
Drew said the Packers think he'll come back. They said they have faith he will be back.
that's
they're
why.
hoping he comes back. I think they're hoping.
Well, they said that last year and he came back.
He
so.
did. But then this year, at the beginning of the year,
He
remember
did-
how it happened,
he
how it
did
unfolded?
say, Rodgers has said that he wanted to retire a Packer.
He did. But with the shit that goes on in the offseason in the last 2 years, it ain't looked like he's going to retire a Packer.
I mean, as long as they keep giving him what he wants, he really has no reason to leave.
But now he just lost his offensive coordinator, who he has a good relationship with.
But any offensive coordinator could probably survive with Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback.
But what I'm saying is that the guy that he has a good relationship with is gone, has a head coaching job in Denver, and he's made it known that he's had problems with Green Bay. I don't know.
I don't know.
I think
We're
he could
going
be
to find
gone.
out real soon.
Yeah.
Bold prediction right here. Aaron Rodgers retires. What?
That's too far. Too far. Too far.
Well, I mean, we said that to you about 2 weeks ago, and we didn't actually get to. Our footage was destroyed somehow. We don't understand. We've had a few problems with our Roadcaster board, so we had some lag issues on not this past Thursday, but last Tuesday's film, so we couldn't cut and post any of it. And John, so everybody knows, anybody who's watching, John last Tuesday made a very bold prediction
Well, he claims he didn't.
and said,
He did.
he did claim on there, but he made a bold prediction that Tom Brady was going to retire this year.
I never denied that. I knew I
No.
said that.
And then we started saying you're saying he's
Yeah.
retired, and you said I'm not saying. I'm saying he could.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm not saying he is.
So John literally called the Tom Brady retirement. And no, we have to put that out there because we don't have the film to put it out there, and no one's ever going to believe us. But this man called it. He said it a week ago.
Drew just said. Also, retirement is an option. Tim says, think he might retire. That's two other people think he might retire.
I think the one thing that keeps Rodgers here is knowing that Brady retired. So he's going to be the old goat of the league.
He's not retiring.
I think Rodgers stays for another year.
He could very well win. I mean, I can't say that out loud. We know why Brady's retiring. He's 45 years old. He said he wanted to play till he's 45. He legitimately would turn 45 before the season starts. So he's there. I mean, he's right about what he said. I don't see Rodgers. I mean, I could be wrong. I've been wrong on every playoff pick I've made damn near. So
I haven't.
I'm going to say it again that I don't think Aaron Rodgers, he's got a lot left to prove.
I do too.
He's not walking away from football.
I think he wants that. I think he wants one more ring because I'm sure he's tired of people saying that he chokes in the playoffs and he can't get it. I look for him to stay and try to chase that ring one more time.
And I think Brent said last Thursday, I'm pretty sure, that he doesn't see him going to the AFC. I still think that's viable. I mean, he is the best quarterback in the NFC. So,
would he be the best quarterback in the AFC if he went to Denver?
No,
I didn't think so either.
Not at all. I don't even think he's probably
I think he's top five. That's it
over there.
I don't think he's number one.
No, he's not number one. He's not outdoing Mahomes by any means, and I don't even think. I mean, you could argue and say put him 2 over Burrow and Allen and Lamar.
It don't take much to get above Lamar.
Yeah. But I think his best bet would be me, as I'm staying in Green Bay as long as they can re-sign who they need to re-sign.
Bobby said Rodgers is going to Vegas and shoot porn.
Jeez, he might.
Jenny wants him to retire too, but I know why Jenny does.
So it leads us into a funny topic. Dennis from work told me to talk about this on here. Did Tom Brady, Braun, you guys hear me? I don't know if you guys can hear that clear. Did Tom Brady, LeBron?
That's LeBron James for you guys who don't know, the greatest basketball player ever.
Did he LeBron?
Oh, God.
Did he LeBron the Bucks?
Let's not get that started.
Now, we don't know the contract situations. We don't know the inside talks. But did he get some of these players to re-sign multi-year deals? Because he said he was going to play through his contract, which I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure his contract was supposed to run through 2023.
Yeah, I believe this is actually, he had one more year left.
Yes, and he said, nah, I'm out. I don't want to be here no more. So do you think he, like LeBron did in Cleveland?
I don't think that was the case. I think Tom legitimately was, thought in his head that he was going to be able to sustain that and play throughout that tenure. But I think now that he's getting older, he's realized, one, his body can't take the hits like it used to. He said himself, his wife hates the fact that he gets pummeled like that, and she cringes every time. I think he's realized that, okay, there's a little more important things than playing till I'm 50, and I think initially when he got all these people to come was, we're going to go and we're going to win 3-4 Super Bowls. That's why we're bringing all these people in here. But then it came down to it, and his body, he just, I can't say his body can't hold up, but I don't think his heart's in it like it used to be.
Yeah, I think he lost the love of the game. That's just what. But the same thing happened, I think, to Ben Roethlisberger. Yeah. They just lost the love of playing football year in and year out.
Yeah.
But it's funny to think because of the fact that some of these players did resign. I mean, I think Fournette signed a 2-year deal, didn't he?
I believe it was a 2-year deal. I think the only one they were losing this year, because Brown signed a 1 year. I think his just 1 year, and then they had Godwin, and Godwin was, I think he's up this year, I believe.
Yeah, Godwin's he's a.
And there's potential that he leaves because Godwin can be a number one somewhere, I believe. So I think if Rodgers,
I think
a
lot of these free agents are going to leave now.
Oh, without Brady, I think
now
so.
who are they going to put it? I mean, they got. I believe they said
Quaternarians, they've got all kinds of people they can put in there. So
they have is it Kyle Trask? I think Kyle Trask is their backup.
Dennis said, and he knows he's not winning another ring.
Yeah, I mean, he's not. I don't blame him for wanting to be in a rebuild. He doesn't want to be in a rebuild. I don't blame him for that. At 40, going to be 45 years old, he doesn't have that kind of time left. So.
And that's the same with Rodgers. Rodgers came and said at this point in his career, he does not want to be part of a rebuild. He's too old for that.
Yeah, he's like, 38?
Yeah, and he wants to win now in a rebuild, which, grant you put Brady or Rodgers in the middle of a rebuild, their chances of winning is a lot higher versus if you put a rookie quarterback or something like that in there, obviously. But are they still a Super Bowl caliber team? Probably not. In a rebuild season, but they still have potential to make the playoffs.
So they just don't want to give years up is what they mean.
Yeah.
Even if it takes a year to rebuild, they don't want to give that year up.
Tim, we know your bias. He said Stafford took his heart for football.
I think he lost that. you seen sort of at the end of that game with the Rams game.
That's a good Bobby says Godwin to Detroit.
I don't think Gronkowski or Fournette is signed. I think their contract ran out. I'm looking at the contracts right now for Tampa. Neither Fournette or Gronkowski is on this list. I think their contracts are over too.
I think Gronk's is because he said he's not coming back.
Well, I think
and Fournette's is over.
Gronk was only signing 1-year deals anyways, I thought.
So that's two of the players that he brought in that aren't signed.
So?
And then Brown's gone, who is the other guy he brought in. So really the people he brought in aren't signed right now. Their contracts are over.
They got lots and lots of people that
you think that had something to do with it?
Well, I know he said roster turnover was a big problem. And he didn't think they were going to be able to sign
some of them guys that he wanted.
But that just goes back to us saying that he needed and wanted a loaded team to win again. So we're all officially going to say he didn't brawn. He didn't brawn.
Yeah,
the
I
Bucks.
don't think he did.
I don't think he brawned the Bucks. It was just something Dennis told me to bring up. I thought it was pretty interesting to debate it, to see if he actually did or didn't. And after you research it, you really realize that he didn't really brawn him at all. He just decided they're going to be in a total rebuild. I mean, it looks like to me they don't even have Gronkowski's unrestricted.
Go down.
Howard's unrestricted.
Look at all those 1 years that are left too coming up for next year for all they're going to have to resign.
So they don't have their starting and backup tight ends. They don't have Chris Godwin, Jason Pierre, Paul, Ryan Jensen, and Ndamukong Suh, Leonard Fournette, Ronald Jones. So literally they don't have a running back under contract other than maybe their third string, whoever he is.
Yeah.
Richard Sherman's out.
Tim said Gronk is retiring. Will break this week. He's retiring. If Brady would have played another year, Gronk would have played another year. That's why he said earlier in the interview he had a week ago, he said, well, if they asked me today, yes, I'd retire, but I'm undecided. And I lay $100 bill. If Brady would have came back this year, Gronk would have came back.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he would have kept playing as long.
Gronk's retiring because Brady's retiring.
I guarantee you by the end of the week, we'll see Gronkowski retires.
Oh, yeah. It'll be.
And even with knowing that Leonard Fournette, even if Brady comes back, it's not a guarantee Leonard Fournette stays there. I think he's sort of resurrected his career a bit. That maybe there's a team out there that might give him a shot at being a legitimate number one. I do see some people on here that might resign, like Ronald Jones, stuff like that. But, I mean, Le'Veon Bell, Le'Veon Bell, Giovanni Bernard, Ronald Jones, and Leonard Fournette are all unsigned. That's all of their running backs. All of them are out.
Okay, now here's the next question that we haven't talked about. Who's the quarterback?
Well, he brought that up. That's why I said Bruce Arians said they have all kinds of.
They're saying Kyle Trask.
There was him. They had him. They had. God.
You know who'd be nice there? People forgot about him.
Marcus Mariota.
Mitchell Trubisky.
Ooh. I did forget.
I never thought he was bad.
No, I think Matt Nagy destroyed him because Matt Nagy doesn't part of the reason why Matt Nagy's not there, he has no idea. Okay, here you go. Got something for you. Who's a better quarterback? And if Brent's watching, I don't know if he is or not.
He is. He just came on.
Who's a better quarterback? Justin Fields or Mitchell Trubisky?
Trubisky.
I mean, think about it.
I'm going to vote for Trubisky.
I mean, we've seen what Trubisky was, and he wasn't he did struggle with consistency, with accuracy, and sometimes he didn't make many plays, but he's better getting what we knew of Mitchell was he was better getting out of the pocket and making plays with his feet. Justin Fields is the same guy. You know what I mean?
Dennis said, my view of LeBroning them was, I'm going to come here, bring some guys, win a ring, and the team gets into trouble with trying to re-sign guys and goes into total rebuild when he walks away.
But the Bucks knew they were doing that,
Yeah.
though. They knew what they were getting with Tom Brady.
And then
when they
Brent
signed
said too early to tell with what you were.
I thought Trubisky had a better
But
arm than
did
Fields.
Brent, did you like Mitchell Trubisky?
Well, you know he liked him.
I don't know. I don't remember if he was a big fan of Mitch or not. I think Brent was up in the air because his consistency.
I thought at first he wasn't, but then he did become a fan of him.
Because remember,
I'm pretty sure
at
he did.
DTR, I really liked when I took shit from everybody at DTR, including Brent, when they drafted Mitchell
That's what
Trubisky.
I'm saying. I think at the beginning he didn't. And I think after that year, they go 13-3 or something, 12-4, the year
Somewhere
they made the
around there
playoffs.
when they missed the field goal.
I think then he jumped on the bandwagon of Trubisky's a good quarterback.
I think Nagy was the reason why Fields produced so bad when he was in.
I also think he's the reason why Trubisky did.
Yeah, well, I agree 100%.
I think Nagy's the problem, not the quarterbacks. That's who they really needed. To
Because
get
if you
fired.
look, the one game when Nagy when he had COVID or whatever, Justin Fields went out and played pretty well. It's because they let him do his thing. But then when the moment Nagy came back, Justin Fields went back to producing shit.
But Fields also struggled once again with inconsistency on completing balls. I mean, he has to. I really hope, and I have high hopes for Justin Fields. I really hope he transitions pretty well into a starting quarterback. But his first year, I know Matt Nagy played a big part in it. He played a big part in his ability to excel. And he ultimately looked like he regressed as a rookie quarterback in the league. And that's hard to say because when you look at rookie quarterbacks, you expect the worst out of them for the most part.
Okay, so
And I think he got worse with starts.
yeah, he did.
So
Do you think? Okay, so who's the better quarterback? Is it Mitchell Trubisky or Marcus Mariota?
Tampa has Blaine Gabbert and Kyle Trask.
So they need a quarterback.
no, Blaine Gabbert's a free agent also. He's on this list.
Well, then he'll be a free agent because I was looking up and they still got him listed.
You wouldn't seriously want to make Blaine Gabbert a starter. Really?
No, I wouldn't.
But between, like I
but
said,
he has gotten older though
But if
too, and
you
he's
can-
also got to sit a couple years behind Tom Brady. We've
did,
seen some
he
of these
did.
quarterbacks become a little better. He's not going to be a starter for somebody, but he could be
But
a,
we
a-
know-
a bridge quarterback or a stopgap
we
quarterback.
know Mariota was a good quarterback in Tennessee. He was. And I think he should get another shot at a starting position.
Yeah, because I don't
And
think
Tampa's a
Ryan
good position.
Tannehill's doing much better than what Marcus Mariota would have given.
See, and that's my thing.
Is-
Like he
is-
can't get him past the hump either. But Mariota, he
How
was
long's
right
Tannehill
there.
Been there? This is Tannehill's second season.
No,
Third
season.
Yeah, Mariota's been a bench player for 2 years now because he split time with Ryan Tannehill. I think his first year there.
I think Mariota's also a little more mobile.
A lot more. Oh, they're probably a little more because Ryan Tannehill can scramble too. It's not all that great, but
Trubisky can scramble.
Thanks, Brent. Congratulations to my Bengals.
well, yeah, we're gonna get on that subject here in a minute. So Mitchell, I think Mitchell, Mariota. You could see them guys. I really hope somebody tries to pry. I don't know if he's a free agent or not. I don't think he is. He might be. Gardner Minshew needs to be starting somewhere.
Bobby just said that Gardner.
Like I don't
I
understand
think the
how
dude
he's
has
not-
heart, and that is a huge thing. I think he's got the heart to play. I mean, I think he could. He could be a starter somewhere.
Yeah, and
Because
then
I think in Washington, I think Tyler Heineke is their guy right now. I think they're riding with him right now.
I'm gonna disagree. I think they're
they
gonna
are.
ship him out.
I don't know.
What was his stats this year? Do
They
we
weren't
remember?
great.
They weren't. I mean,
They weren't horrible. Middle of the road.
He's somebody that can
he
fill
won
you in.
some
He's a
games.
decent starter for you.
I think the more starts, the better he'll get. I like Tyler.
Well, we did get
Or Taylor.
the breaking news earlier that the Niners are searching for a trade partner for Jimmy Garoppolo.
And that
We'll take him.
that blows my
We'll take
mind
him in Cleveland.
with that situation because he's performed well for them. He's got them to a Super Bowl. Almost got them to one this year. Yes, not all him. Obviously, they had an outstanding defense this year. They had, I do not, and maybe I'm speaking too soon, but I do not feel Lance is their answer. I don't.
Well, how much better does he make you being that he's going to be a rookie next year? he's technically a second-year player, but he's going to be rookie when it comes to taking the snaps, running the offense. You're the guy. So you're almost you have to do it at some point if you don't think Jimmy Garoppolo's your guy. Obviously, the Niners are fed up with Jimmy Garoppolo and what he brings to the table. They obviously want more of a dynamic quarterback.
Brent said Jimmy G thinks he's going to be a Steelers. To go back to Taylor real quick, he completed 65% of his passes, 3,400 yards, 20 touchdowns, 15 picks. Had a quarterback rating of 85.9.
And he wasn't the problem of why they lost against the Rams. He did throw the pick. I think he threw a pick late in the game to that Williams that ultimately ended the game. I think it was Williams who picked it off.
Well, and the defense there toward the end, I feel like sort of falling off a little bit. The San Francisco's defense.
Because he had 2 touchdown passes in that game, too.
Yeah, and he played well. He did not play awful football, except for the interception there toward the end. If he don't throw that pick and they go and they do make it, it's a whole different conversation in the Super Bowl. We're not talking about the Rams being in the Super Bowl.
Then what do you do? I think they were that breaking news of that trade happened too fast. So I think they were getting rid of him whether they made the Super Bowl or even won the Super Bowl.
Oh,
he
yeah.
was getting shipped out.
He was going either way.
They took Trey Lance. They feel like this is our guy. This is what – and maybe he works better for Kyle. Maybe Kyle likes a scrambling quarterback. So I know lots of was it who was the coach who just came out this week and I think it was Mike Tomlin come out talking about the dynamic of a scrambling quarterback in today's league is what all coaches are searching for in drafts. Is they want that quarterback that has the ability to move but then can also throw the ball. So they're all searching for their own Lamar Jackson, every single one of them. There's lots of risk with them type of quarterbacks, but at the same time, with today's era, there's lots of upside with the scrambling quarterback. So it seems like they're all the NFL is slowly but surely transitioning to mobile quarterbacks. Could we be seeing the same thing that we've seen in the NBA where the big guy with the back to the basket is left out because now you have these ultra fucking centers that can do everything, shoot three, shoot the mid-range, bring the ball up the court, pass the ball, defend. They're real light-footed. And now could we be seeing the same thing with maybe these traditional pocket passing quarterbacks are sort of going to be they're going to sort of plummet. I'm not saying they'll fall out of the first round, but you'll constantly see these quarterbacks. I guess
it's just going to depend if it's a team that needs a quarterback. If your best option, you need a quarterback, and you've got a good pocket passing quarterback here, I can't say they fall off.
But would they? Could they pull something like a Trey Lance and say, "Well, we'd much rather take the building project because he's got legs," instead of Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett has the ability to run. But if there's quarterbacks in this draft this year that run better than him, would they decide, well, he's got that leg factor, so we can work with his mechanics, we can fix his accuracy, but that's naturally gifted when it comes to his legs. You know what I mean?
Bryn said they scramble and run because they are young. When they get older, they will become pocket passers.
Well, for the most part, they hope.
They slow down a little bit. You look at Vic. Vic ran a lot more in his earlier years, and the older he got, he didn't run so much. But then his stats fell down too, and I feel like their wins kind of fell off too.
Does Lamar fall off if he doesn't have legs and they expect
and that's another quarterback that could be shipped out because of Huntley. I feel like when Huntley came in, he played really well.
Or does he go look elsewhere? I think the Ravens are sold on Lamar. I think they like him.
Even if Huntley, I think there's two quarterbacks there. If Huntley says, "Hey, I want to start," what if he could go somewhere?
Or do they give Lamar this year and say, because he's up for a contract. He still hasn't signed his mega deal yet, has he? I'm pretty sure he's up for contract this year.
I don't remember him signing.
He didn't sign a deal. I know he's up for it, and he's got injured again.
But do you think he signs a deal like Patrick Mahomes? I don't.
Didn't Vic do it? Vic signed a 10-year deal way back in like 2004, didn't he? Like 3 or 4 years into the league, he signed a monstrous 10-year deal.
I was meaning like for money wise. I don't think Lamar's going to reach. I mean, that's two different quarterbacks. I mean, you cannot say that Lamar is worth Patrick Mahomes. I don't.
It doesn't matter what we think. It just matters all one organization has to do is fall in love with you. You know
that's
what
right.
I mean?
You're right. And that's where it's going to hurt him having Huntley back there. Because they know they have another quarterback that can win, because he did, and does the same things that Lamar does.
I think he throws the ball better than Lamar.
See, and that's my point. Like, so you look at that, that's going to hurt Lamar's signing ability, because they're going to look at, well, if he wants too much money, we got this guy that does it just as good as him, if not better.
But I would imagine someone like the Panthers would be licking their chops hoping they release Lamar Jackson.
Oh, there's going to be teams.
There's teams that are willing to probably give him $45-50 million a year.
Next year, he's an unrestricted free agent.
Lamar.
Yeah, so he's got this
year coming, right?
Yeah, that's for 2023.
Yeah, so
okay. He's got this year. He is this year for 22. He's set to make $23 million.
I'd let him be. Show him he's been injured 2 years in a row. If I'm the Baltimore Ravens, you now know what you have in Hundley.
Well, and that's the other thing with a scrambling quarterback like that, a mobile quarterback, is the injury. They're injury prone. They get injured a lot more because they're taking bigger hits. And
Lamar don't like to go down either. So it ain't like he's out there sliding.
No,
he thinks he can break everybody's ankles.
Hit.
Yeah. He thinks I can break your ankle no matter what.
And Bobby the game slows down and they see the field as they get older. And he's right. They start learning more. It becomes a slower paced game for them. And he's right.
I will tell you this.
But he's got to slow down. The game might slow down for them, but that doesn't mean he's going to slow down. That doesn't mean he's going to stay in the pocket.
Right.
You got to remember back when like Vic was drafted, remember first round guys were signing monster deals.
Right off rip. And then the NFL changed all that.
So Michael Vick's first year deal was 6 years, $62 million, with $15.3 million guaranteed.
But he didn't finish that deal,
and he re-signed 3 years later in 2004 for 10 years, $138 million, which at the time was the record most for a quarterback.
And that's because his first 3 years he was lighting the league on fire with his legs.
And I think they made an NFC championship in one of those first three. So,
yeah, it was 2002, wasn't it?
I think 2002 was the year.
Is that the Dirty Bird year?
No. Dirty Bird was 98. Jamal Lewis. Or Jamal Adams. Damn it, what's his name?
Jamal Anderson?
Jamal Anderson.
Yeah.
The Dirty Birds. That was 98.
I thought Vic was a part of that too.
But they could have brought it back. I just don't remember. I remember it being big with 98 with Jamal Anderson. But, yeah, I think one of those first 3 years he made the NFC Championship game, and then
they've only had a couple 10-year deals, haven't they?
Yeah, they don't have many 10-year deals.
I knew Michael Vick signed a 10-year deal. I remember that.
Yeah, not many people have ever signed a 10-year deal.
I was like a sophomore.
Mahomes was 10-year, $500 million or something.
Yeah. We've never seen a 10-year, half a $1 billion quarterback in year 3, which we could see it again. It's going to be broke again. I argued with a guy on TikTok because he said, "Oh, well, we've seen 10-year deals before, but we haven't seen this type of success from the quarterback."
We may not. These other quarterbacks may not sign a 10-year, but they'll sign something that's bigger per year money.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, you might see 3-4 year deals worth $250 million and $200 million of it guaranteed.
I mean, because you're gonna have Allen coming up. You're gonna have Burrow. You're gonna have Herbert.
I mean, Dak got $40 million a year, $45 million a year, and I think Allen and them are better than him. So, and he got $40 to $45 million. So, Allen. Lamar, he's more dynamic than Dak. I don't think Lamar is better than Dak when it comes to just playing the quarterback position.
I'm going to put this out here. I'm going to say this. If Burrow continues to do what he did this year until he signs his contract, it might be bigger than Patrick Mahomes.
It's just, Cincinnati don't got that kind. They got the money, but they don't have that in their blood. The thing is in order to get,
they never had a quarterback like Burrow either.
But not time. You got to remember. That was a whole different era. Cincinnati, I feel like I'm hoping, because Brent made the comment, I think it was Brent last week, that Cincinnati's cheap on re-signing. That was an old era. I think did
they change owners?
But this is my point, though. I think a lot of that influence also comes from coaching. And, before, we were never a big free agent team before. Last year, we went out and actually splashed in the free agency because of our coach. I think the influence and wanting to change that the culture, the winning culture, hopefully has a big deal with the new owner, or not the new owner, with Paul Brown, that, hey, okay, we want to continue to win. So I'm hoping that the winning that they're doing hopefully pushes him to change and be like, okay, we're going to spend some money. We're going to keep these players. We're going to change this culture. We're going to become a winning team.
Well, I will say
now, I'm not
that they
guaranteeing that's
signed-
what's going to happen, but that's what I'm hoping that, because where they are now is where we want to continue to see as fans and everything. We want to see them continue that. So, and you're right too. Cincinnati's never had the caliber of quarterback that they have right now. Ever.
Why I say is they have to figure out how to write this. The Chiefs were geniuses when it came to this contract with Mahomes. It leaves them tons of room to restructure to where he takes less money,
which they've already done.
Because he made it clear, I'm not signing this deal if this is going to cost us a chance to sign Tyreek Hill or Travis Kelce or other big key pieces. I will not sign this deal if this is what's going to happen. Because without these guys, I'm not who I am. So can they get creative enough can other GMs, owners, because I'm not saying all of them are as creative as some of these other guys, to get creative enough to be able to come up with these deals. And Joe, I hate to say it, I like I've said before, Joe's got tons of moxie. Joe's got a lot of Baker Mayfield in him too when it comes to, give me mine. This is mine. I earned this.
Yeah, but Joe is also, I think, by far more talented.
I wouldn't go that far yet.
I'm going that far.
Because we've seen the ceiling. We've seen how high it can go with Baker Mayfield. And with consistency.
It still wasn't Joe Burrow level.
But he's also never had the weapons that Joe Burrow has in the league either. So he's never had a Jamar Chase. He hasn't. I mean, name a Jamar Chase that Baker's got to throw to.
He's trash.
Jamar is?
No.
I'm saying I mean, I think he has the legitimate better running back because I think Chubb is better than Mixon.
Chubb is better than Mixon.
He's had the better offensive line, obviously.
Right.
No,
their receiving car is by far better.
Oh, by far better. And when you actually give...
I think Burrow is a better quarterback than Mayfield.
So do I.
I do. Now...
I was going to... Wait, before you go, I was going to say, you guys say... Everybody keeps saying you guys are cheap, which you guys have been, but they were. But last year, one of the major free agents moves for you guys was getting Trey Hendrickson.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's why I said...
And you spent some money on him.
That's why I said years prior... they never spent money in free agency. Never.
Really.
Fans, we always bitch about it. Why ain't we picking up these free agents? Why aren't we going after these people? We always went after people, and they turned out to be good. Pac-Man Jones went after him, turned out to be good for us. Cedric Benson went after him. We went after players that was in trouble.
These were guys that didn't get real big contracts.
That's what I mean. We went after cheap people. Last year was our first major year of actually making a splash in free agency and got some bigger name players that we knew were performers. So I'm hoping that trend changes. I'm hoping that they start spending money.
Now, could they have offered contracts to some of these big guys and they just decided we're not playing in Cincinnati?
It is possible.
Well, and that's where that was the other thing
maybe
too.
They have been offering money, but people didn't want to go there.
Well, and that's the other thing too. What's going to help, and I don't care when anyone says, everybody says, well, it's all about money. Well, yeah, to an extent, but some of these players, the older they get, they want that Super Bowl. So some of these older players may turn down bigger money from other teams because they want to go to a winning team.
Right.
And now that Cincinnati is becoming a winning team this year. I'm not saying next year they're going to win one. I'll get into that in a minute. But maybe now it'll entice the players who want to come to Cincinnati because they're like, hey, that's a winning team. Let's go there. If you think Odell Beckham would have went to the Rams if they weren't winning, if the Rams were, only won 3 or 4 games, you think Odell's going to sign there?
No, he wouldn't.
No, he wouldn't have signed there.
He went to he knew where he.
That's exactly right. So, and it's the same with Cincinnati. That could they want now that they're winning. It's going to open their window up to who they can sign and who they can't sign. Now, to go what I was going to say, I think that Burrow is better than Mayfield. I do believe that, but I'm not on the Burrow train yet. I'm not on the Chase train yet. I want to see one more year before I say, okay, these guys are it.
Well, the only reason I say that we can't outlandishly right here sit right now and say Burrow is better than Baker, because Burrow's rookie season, yes, he went down. But when he went down after 10 games, he only had 13 touchdowns. Baker only played in 10 games, 12 games his rookie year, correct? And he threw.
I thought he played a whole season.
No.
13 games.
Yeah, 13 games, and he threw
It was
20.
the third game of the season, I believe.
Yeah,
I gotta look that up.
He threw 28 touchdowns.
27.
So 27. So he's never. And then what we seen with Burrow. Burrow got his guy. Go out and get Baker somebody he's used to throwing to. We all know what Jamar Chase meant to Joe Burrow. He wanted him because he knew they had. Me and you talked about this at our fantasy draft, John. How they had that chemistry. Mm-hmm. He said, "Get this guy to me." So I need him. If he go get him now. Period. So they passed up on an offensive lineman, who the Lions are loving, in that Penini Sewell. They passed up on him, and then Baker went into a bit of a slump his sophomore year, and then he once again took off again his junior year, and then this year, I hate to say it, the dude battled tons and tons of injuries that it's really hard to say, nah, you should have. You know, I am a firm believer. I've said it. If you walk onto that field, you're saying you can give 100%. But Baker's also playing for a contract.
This is Baker's.
I don't think he
Baker's fourth year. And the most impressive, I mean, his rookie season, he was 3,700 yards, 27 touchdowns, 14 picks.
Came 13 games.
Yeah, came out in 19, did 3,800 yards, 22 touchdowns, 21 picks. Came out in 20, 3,500 yards, 26 touchdowns, 8 picks. This year, 3,000 yards, 17 touchdowns, 13 picks.
Yeah, and this year he was hurt. And I think he pushed through a lot of injuries because of the contract year.
But like they always say, if you're out there on the field.
I know. I get that part. But when you're playing for your money, a lot of people will do a lot of things.
John, pull up Burrow's stats for this year.
I just had it up. What do you want to know?
I want you to tell me what he did. His completion percentage, yards, touchdown, interceptions. I want to know exactly what it was this year.
This year it was 70% completion, 4,600 yards, 34 touchdowns, 14 picks.
I'm going to say this, and I know you might say, well, you can't say that. I don't think Baker will ever throw that. He'll never have 4,700 yards, 30-some touchdowns.
Why? I can't.
I
don't understand how you can say that with no weapons when it comes to he threw 20.
How are you saying no weapons? Because Odell had 1,000 yards his first year he was there, which was his down year, which was a bad year for Baker. He had Odell with 1,000 yards, and Jarvis had
his first year.
Like 800
he played
yards.
Awesome. We just talked about it.
No, his first year with Odell. The first year Baker was there, he didn't have Odell.
Yeah, and he had a great year.
So his second year, which was his bad year, he had Odell, and who put up 1,000 yards receiving.
Still not Jamar Chase.
And Jarvis put up, I think, 800 that year. So he may not be Jamar Chase, but he's still a number one receiver who's a really good receiver. And he didn't even perform that well the year that Odell had a good year. I just don't see him ever being that kind of caliber quarterback.
So I'm gonna have to. We're gonna say this on air right now. If he comes out next year and he throws 35 touchdowns, you can never brag about Baker Mayfield ever for the rest of the time you're ever a Browns fan. I know I'm being serious.
Dude,
because
that's every Browns fan.
I'm so sick and tired of Browns fans saying give up on the fucking quarterback. It's always the quarterback's fault in a Browns fan's eyes.
Bobby
it's never
said
anything
he had two
else.
good running backs.
I never said it was all his fault. I've said many a time
He
it's
lost.
not just his fault.
He lost Nick Chubb this year for 4 games. He lost Kareem Hunt pretty much all year. Odell Beckham was a.
I don't think he lost Chubb for 4 games.
Somewhere close to that. Kareem Hunt pretty much missed all year. Odell Beckham, no show. Jarvis Landry, old. I don't know why they think Donovan Peoples-Jones is going to be a good receiver. He's not. The one main target that Baker Mayfield loved was Rashard Higgins. They didn't play him.
Nope.
I don't understand that. Offensive line battled COVID and injuries all year long, and Baker was literally fighting for his life for every injury that he could possibly have. And yet he did not play well this year.
And Kevin Stefanski didn't help him either.
Yeah, and yet Browns fans want to say Baker's never going to be this guy.
I'm not a Cleveland fan, and I said it wasn't all Baker. I'm not saying Baker's a bad quarterback. I think Baker has potentially giving him the right surroundings.
Give him a T. Higgins, a Jamar Chase, and a Tyler Boyd. And then he'll have, obviously, Kareem. And I've already said it. I've made it, and I think the Browns should do it. You guys have heard it here. I've told Mooney, if the Browns aren't offering Kareem Hunt to the Atlanta Falcons for Calvin Ridley, they're completely stupid.
Chubb only missed 2 games.
Yeah.
And then in 2 games, he had Hunt at the time.
So I don't Browns. If you're listening, you're the GM. Why aren't you shipping out Kareem Hunt for Calvin Ridley? It literally, I don't see why the Atlanta Falcons would turn that down. The Atlanta Falcons need a running back. Kareem Hunt is a number 1 running back in the league. We've seen what he can do when he's a number 1, and the Browns absolutely need a number 1 stud receiver, Calvin Ridley. Then you have the 13th pick in the draft this year. Guess what? There's a couple more receivers out there that they could go grab.
Here's a couple
You just
comments.
fixed your receiving core, I would think. Would you not think?
Yeah,
Here's a couple
pretty
comments.
much
Overnight.
Yeah.
Brent said, problem is OBJ isn't a number 1 anymore.
He's not.
And Browns tried to make him one. Drew said Browns probably was a problem was injuries this year, which we've established that. Bobby said, whole lifetime the Browns have always loved backups. And then Tim says coach has to go in Cleveland.
I think Kevin played a big part. Do you get rid of both of them? No. Ultimately, bad franchises give up on quarterbacks.
Yes, Brent,
and coaches.
that is very crazy.
What?
He said, "Isn't it crazy that once playoffs started, no more COVID in the NFL?"
Well, we
Good
knew that.
point.
We knew that was coming. They're not letting them players miss.
And then, Drew said you can't keep shipping out the coach, and that was my argument too, because I don't blame it all on the coach. I think there was a lot of issues there in Cleveland. A lot of issues, not just one or the other.
It was a dumpster fire.
Yeah, there was a lot of issues there. I think all of them need fixed. I think you give Kevin Stefanski another year. They need to build a receiving crew, get Mayfield healthy, get the O-line healthy, and then go from there. Because
Next year should be a make or break.
I proved this point that Cleveland was a very competitive team against every team they played almost. There was only a couple blowouts that happened, New England being one, which I think New England came in pissed off that game when they played them because I think New England got whomped on the week before.
They did by Dallas.
No, we beat them in overtime.
Yeah.
We didn't want
Well,
them.
but you beat them.
Yeah.
So I think
And they felt they were in that game.
they ran almost every game. When they played my team, they whomped on them the first time. Second time, yes, they beat them.
They took the Packers down to the wire.
They took the Packers
bad
down.
pass
They
interference
took
call.
Kansas City down.
bad-
the
no-
wire.
No pass
the no
interference
pass
call that should have been
interference
called.
So Cleveland is a competitive team. They're a tough team, very talented team. I don't believe that it was a well-oiled machine. There was a lot of things that could be different and changed.
It was Swiss cheese, bro. There was lots of holes everywhere.
Well, yeah,
I mean, I think Browns fans have to relax. Like Aaron Rodgers says it, RELAX, bro. Relax. You have to. You can't always take it and say, well, we had a and the bad thing is with all them problems, you still finished what? 7 and 8 and 9 or 8 and 9.
Yeah, if they would have
Finished above Baltimore.
Yeah, if they would have beat Baltimore, wasn't it what was the game before Cincinnati?
They were in the playoff hunt towards the end.
Yeah, they were in
that
the
was
playoff.
that was the Packers game that we didn't get the pass interference called.
Was that the one that
Yeah,
knocked them out?
and that was the one.
I
Could have been in it if it would have won that game.
I had a lot of harsh criticism for Baker all year long, but in the long run, when you sit and look at the
I'm not
picture-
sure who Bobby's talking to. Bobby goes, "Who is we, Mike? You got a mouse in your pocket?" I'm not sure which one he's talking to. Somebody made a comment. I'm not.
I don't know.
I don't
I
know.
think he said you said my team.
No, he said Mike.
I don't know. I don't know who he's talking. I ain't talking about the Cowboys. Can't be me, Bobby. I don't nothing when it ain't unless it's the Cowboys, the Sixers, the Reds.
Okay, so I'm going to clarify this. Do I think all I was trying to get at was that I don't think Baker's going to ever be on the level of Joe Burrow. That's what I think. Now, can he win? Can he get back to his?
But why are you putting? But
can
why
he
are you?
get back to his rookie year? I think he could if the right things were in place. Does that get us to a Super Bowl? That I don't know. But he has proven he can win. What my thing is the only consistent season he ever had was his rookie year. Every season after that has been inconsistent.
That's crap.
It's been inconsistent.
His third year, he had 26 touchdowns, 8 picks.
Third year,
actually
he
got
had
better.
8 games.
3,500 yards passing.
8 games. That's all he had. Because the first 8 games were absolutely horrible.
They can't be
so
too bad.
Inconsistent. He literally went off in 8 games. You got to look at his stats in those first 8 to compare to the last 8. It's night and day. It's insane how different it
This is the whole argument you can make.
Breaking.
So I'm
Drew
saying
said,
inconsistent.
Drew said breaking news: Harbaugh plans to accept the Vikings job.
Well, there you go. He's going to be a Viking.
All I'm saying is, could this be the best year you ever see of Joe Burrow? He had all the weapons in the world and only threw 34 touchdowns.
And that's my point.
Could be.
Everybody, we can't. I love Joe Burrow. I think he's got that winner's mentality. He's going to carry it for the rest of his career. But he could turn right into a Matt Ryan. to where he just, and there's no problem with that being a Matt Ryan your whole entire career, but he could be that guy. One year he gives you 36, 37 touchdowns, and next year he's right around 24, 25.
Well, and that's where I said I wasn't sold on him yet. But with Burrow with his stats this year, I was reading, I think I told you guys about me reading the interview he had with Brady. And he said the first part of the year he wasn't confident in his body to do things that he wanted to do because of his knee injury. After he came out of the bye week, he said he felt more confident in his body and in his knee, his capability, so he was able to scramble more. If you notice, after the bye week, Cincinnati really started clicking better on offense and playing better. Burrow's stats, he started playing better, which if you look, he had the most consecutive 300-yard games this year of over 300 yards. So, I mean, he didn't play bad, but he started playing better after the bye week because he became more confident in his knee. I do think maybe that injury hindered him a little bit, but he still showed him. He still obviously was talented with it. But I think that next year, if he goes out and does it again next year, what he did this year with the statistics, I'm not saying go win a Super Bowl or go to the Super Bowl. I'm saying with his personal play, I'll be sold on him. Okay, he's great. Same with Jamar Chase.
So you could settle with a 34 touchdown, 15 interception year every single year.
I don't think that's a bad year.
No, it's not. That's what I'm saying. That's what I think.
No, I'm saying if he's throwing for 46 to in between 40, because he would have thrown for closer to 5, but he didn't play the last game of the season. So if he throws for 46 to 4,800 yards a year, that's nothing to scuff about. That's not. I mean, that's better than
I don't know if he can keep that up year in and year out.
We won't know.
If he's just a 4,000-yard passer, most people would be happy.
I mean, I'm not saying I wouldn't be.
Yeah, I mean,
but I think that he has, with the weapons he has and the capabilities he has, I think he has potential to be that.
But I think that's the problem when it comes to Browns fans is they see all these other quarterbacks doing it, and they're like, well, why can't our quarterback do that? Well, what's wrong with 3,800 yards, 28 touchdowns, 8 picks, year in and year out with a 65, 66 completion percentage, and you're constantly above 500? I think Baker Mayfield has that ability to keep them competitive year in and year out. You have to give him help. I don't care what anybody says.
Oh, you do. It's
Every
a team thing. It's not just
needs help.
They need help. No matter how good you are, you need help.
You're not running that receiving core out there saying, well, let's go win with these guys. That's a joke.
You can have a great quarterback and bring in an elite receiver to make that quarterback elite. The same that you can have an elite quarterback and bring in a great receiver and make that receiver elite.
Yeah.
It's a duo. You look with Tom Brady and Randy Moss. Randy Moss never had the season he had until he came to Tom Brady. Tom Brady never had the season he had until he brought Randy Moss in. Each player, Burrow and Chase, prime example. Them two make each other better. They're better together. Yep. I know that sounds cliche because that's a song, but it's the truth. I mean, you can have players be better together. You look at Don McNabb and Terrell Owens. They were better on the field together, off the field, not so much. Tony Romo and Owens, same thing. They both played better when they were together. There's just certain aspects. If you get Mayfield a person that he can play to make that mesh with, obviously it wasn't Odell Beckham. We've seen that. If you get him a person that he can have chemistry with, I think he performs better. Now, I'm not saying he goes out and throws 5,000 yards, but I'm saying he plays better. He has that bond with.
I agree. I think he needs. They got the backs. They don't need 2 backs. Ernest Johnson, the Cleveland Browns can save some cap room. I still think once again they need to make that trade.
I see Hunt leaving.
I think they need to. Well, they have to trade him. I mean, he signed. Trade him. Send him to Atlanta. Get yourself Calvin Ridley. It fixes Atlanta's problem. It fixes your guys' problem. Draft yourself a receiver with the 13th. I think they have the 13th pick.
Tom did win with Moss. He just didn't win the Super Bowl with Moss. That wasn't my point. My point was because Bobby said, but Tommy didn't win with Moss. They had almost the perfect season.
They were 18-0.
Yeah.
I mean,
he played well with him. The Giants was his kryptonite.
Yeah, he's not going 18-0 without Moss because Moss, I think, broke the record for receiving touchdowns.
He did, 23.
Too. So, I mean, the dude had an all-time great season. So, I think I do not to go off track here a little bit. I do want to chime in. I think I have a way to sort of fix the Dallas Cowboys culture. And I didn't want to believe it, and then I started digging into it because Mooney knows I'm not a big fan of this guy off the field. I don't like his views. I don't like the way he is. He's had some issues, some dilemmas at the school that he's at now. But I really think if the Cowboys once again fail next year, because it sounds like they're going to keep Mike McCarthy for at least one more year, I think the Dallas Cowboys should hire Dion Sanders as their next head coach. I'm being dead serious. I think
That's a shocker.
The culture change that he would bring, what he's done at Jackson State, is flat out amazing. The culture that he's brought.
I want to thank you all for tuning in to this podcast.
It's just how he demands perfection. He demands respect.
I get what you're saying.
He holds accountability to all of his players. The biggest thing that Dallas is missing, and we've said it a million times, is accountability. Penalties. People showing up late to meetings. You know, Amari Cooper this year with his whole COVID being sat out because he's still against the vaccine. I understand it, whatever. But as a team organized thing, everybody else is vaccinated but you. I didn't want to believe it, and I kept researching it. Shaquille O'Neal's the one who put it out there last week. I don't want to take any of that credit. But then I'm like, you know, that's everything Dallas needs. It's everything. And he brings just a different attitude,
But what do you want to come there?
Oh, absolutely. He's got a really great relationship with Jerry Jones. Amazing relationship with him. A lot of people think Jerry Jones just did a backdoor deal with Dan Quinn. Signed him to a couple-year deal to get him to stay as the head coach in waiting. And that's honest to God what I'm getting the feeling is he just did a backdoor deal. A lot of people thought Josh McDaniels had that with Bill Belichick being the next head coach.
Why do the backdoor deal? If that's the case, he's got Quinn there. Why not fire McCarthy? He said he's already disappointed, so I can't really agree with the
Jerry's
backdoor deal.
Jerry's not one that gets rid of somebody after a couple years, which I'm perfectly fine with. You know, I've always said firing a coach after a couple years can be really bad on an organization, but holding on to a coach for too long can be just as bad.
McCarthy's only been there 2 years. I don't think that's too long.
No. What I'm saying, though, is they're going to give him his third year. If he fails to get us, it could be too long for the sheer fact that you brought McCarthy in because it was supposed to be a win-now coach. You were a proven coach. You were a Super Bowl winning coach. The team was built there for you already. You were pretty much walking in to a fully built team saying,
yeah,
here it is. He made a really bad hire in Mike Nolan, completely destroyed a top 10 defense the year prior and made him the worst that the franchise has really ever seen, and then had to fire him.
Let's just say what it is. McCarthy was supposed to be Barry Switzer.
Yes.
You were supposed to walk into a loaded team
and win.
You really didn't have to do a whole lot. The team was talented enough to win a Super Bowl. But you helped fuck it all up. And now they want to hang on to him for another year. And I understand what you're saying. Don't get rid of him. As I know in Cleveland, I said Stefanski was a problem, but I never said he should be fired. I don't like the whole, well, you've been there 3 years, we're going to move on from you. I don't like that.
That's
like,
the biggest.
You got to build a little bit. But McCarthy was literally supposed to be Barry Switzer. The team was there. You didn't have to do anything but literally just manage the team.
And I think that's where you can sort of move on from a coach that fast when they have success already. With Kevin Stefanski, you knew what you were getting. He had never coached before. So you can't really fire a guy after 2 years. He's never coached. He's still learning. So with McCarthy, you had 10 years. I believe he coached 10 years.
Yeah, but the difference with McCarthy, I see a bigger because they went with 12-4. 12-5.
12-5.
12-5. So that's a great record. Cleveland would love to have that record. Detroit would love to have that record. So they're looking at it. They got, I'm looking at it as, okay, he's a winning coach. Okay, he's been here 2 years. What was his record the first year there? I can't remember.
4-12.
So he went from 4-12 to a 12-5 season. That's a big turnaround.
But all the
turnaround because all the players
were healthy though.
They were healthy, and that's the reason he went 4-12.
Did he go 12? Did he go 12-5 because the talent alone is going to get you 12 wins?
I understand that, but that's my point. They had a 12-5 season. Yeah, they didn't win to the Super Bowl, but neither did Tampa. So Neither did Kansas City.
So this is what I'm saying.
You know,
they went 12-5.
I'm not saying. My point is, I don't think you fire him after a 12, which it didn't happen. It happened in San Diego there with
It's happened
Turner.
more often than not.
Yeah, it's happened. But I don't.
I shouldn't say more often than not because
I think
it's
now
happened.
in San Diego he did it. It was North Turner, wasn't it? Wasn't that who it was that they fired after every year he was 12-4 or 11-5 season.
Marty Schottenheimer.
And Marty Schottenheimer, yeah, they fired him, but he did it for how many years straight and never got past that. He went, multiple years.
Because that's when you realize that it's you.
Yeah, and that's my point. Where
he was fired because of his playoff run. He couldn't win in the playoffs.
That was him.
That was my point.
Right,
That's where I'm going with McCarthy. Okay, he had his first year, or the second year here, made it to the playoffs. He lost. Okay, give him a third year. Let's see what he does the third year. Now, if he gets deeper in the playoffs, and he may not make it to the Super Bowl, but if he gets deeper,
they don't have that. That's what I think Jerry Jones is starting to panic. They don't that's the thing that sucks is they don't have that. Like, this is my whole argument when the Cowboys had Romo. Oh, well, we made it to the second round this time. Well, then the next year Romo goes down, and then you're pretty much rebuilding again.
Bobby said, not trying to start anything, but is Dallas the best at that's the coach you need? I don't know. He's got a bunch of dots. I don't know what he means by that. I'm not sure how to read that comment.
Cowboys need a culture change. I hate to say it. They're stuck in the same funk that the Detroit Lions are in. The Detroit Lions need a culture change. The Bengals needed a culture change. They got it. The Browns needed a culture change. Over the last 3 or 4 years, they've changed it. You see these franchises that they need. I think Dan Campbell for the Lions is completely retooling the culture in Detroit. The Dallas is still stuck in the same damn culture. Jerry Jones is trying to live off the early 90s success, and he needs to sit back and relax and say, I'm just the owner. Let the coach coach, period. This is why he brought in McCarthy. McCarthy's a fucking puppet. He's not. He brought the same exact issues that he had in the Packers and penalties and not holding players accountable. He's brought it to Dallas. In year one, you took a super talented team. Yes, you lost Dak Prescott, but you weren't winning with him. He was putting up major numbers. Well, he was on pace to shatter the all-time record for passing yards in a single season. Didn't he have 1,800 yards through 5 games passing? And then he breaks his ankle.
Games.
And we were 2-4, I think, at the time when he lost.
2-4, 3-3, something.
Yeah,
like that.
we weren't a good football team at that point. Why? Because we were getting penalties early. This year, Dak's back. He's healthy. Penalties we lost in the playoffs because of penalties, and that's coaching. Period. Bad play calling. Bad schematics. Everything was the play. I agree with John when it says sometimes the players have to play too, but you can only play to the scheme or the plan that they give you. Whether or not you perfect that plan, that's on the players. But Mike McCarthy isn't changing anything either. He's not improving.
Dak was 2-3 last year.
Yeah, so I thought 2 and 3.
68% of his passes completed, 1,856 yards, 9 touchdowns, 4 interceptions.
Yeah. And he was throwing the ball like 40 times a game, every game.
Yeah, because he in 222 attempts in 5 games.
He was about to destroy every record.
44 and a half attempts a game. That's a lot. That is a lot.
So I am on board. You keep him one more year. If he doesn't get you to, this is my thing with McCarthy. If penalties doesn't change and he doesn't get you to a Super Bowl next year, bye-bye.
If he stays on pace with what he was throwing last year, he'd have shattered the record for attempts. He would have made close to 700 attempts in a season.
Yeah, and he would have had 6,000 passing yards. I think they said he was on pace for 6,000 passing yards. So yes, I do agree with John when it comes to, I don't think they should. I wouldn't care if they fired him because I think he's a proven coach. He is what he is. I think that's the part of what Mooney said I do agree with too. You're not changing Mike McCarthy.
No. And that was my thing is everything you saw in Green Bay after they won the Super Bowl, he's done nothing. He's done nothing but lose playoff games. And then he brings the same culture to you guys, this no discipline, penalized team culture. And again, he can't win in the playoffs.
And then what sucks is he had a horrible playoff showing. Correct?
Bad.
And he says, I'm not worried about my job. I was assured my job is safe. That's what Jerry Jones told you? Come on, man. Like, You're not even holding yourself accountable. If you're a coach, you should say fire me.
No, remember he blamed it on the refs.
Yeah, fire me. I coached horrible out there. I don't even know why I'm here.
He blamed it on the refs, and then your star quarterback came out and congratulated the fans for throwing things at people.
Which came back later and apologized for that.
He did come back
he
later.
apologized.
I mean, he was stuck
it.
in his, he was stuck in the moment. We all know that.
And I get that, but that's a horrible thing to say. That's
it was.
They were number 2. Dallas was number 2 in the league in penalties this year.
Yeah. I
That's
mean,
bad.
and still went 12-5. Talent outweighed the mistakes. Is what it was.
And that's why I keep going back to saying he's supposed to be Barry Switzer. The team is loaded enough. Going from the year before when they got 4 wins
and still win 12 games.
Right. They got 4 wins the year before because they were injury riddled. They come back healthy. They go 12-5. And I really solely believe they went 12-5 based off of their talent. I don't think it had anything to do with McCarthy.
But I guess they're saying Amari Cooper.
And they won. And I'm pretty sure they went 6-10 last year. We said 4-12, but I'm pretty sure they went 6-10.
Well, either way, it was losing.
They're saying Amari Cooper may not be there next year.
Well, they're talking that because he's got a contract that they can rid. They'd be stupid to get rid of him. They keep saying
they're going to lose Gallup. They don't want to lose Cooper too.
I don't think they lose Gallup. He tore his ACL. He's not going to be ready until they're
so
talking.
Does that leave just Lamb? And
they're talking week 5, week 6. They're not going to lose him.
Wilson, he stepped up this year. He was a good receiver for them.
The only reason they're saying Amari Cooper is because of the fact that he has a contract. He's guaranteed like $17 million this year or something wild like that. Might be a little higher.
Restructure.
And they can out him, and they only calls for like $6 million, so they could save like I think they said it was like 10, maybe it's $20 million. I know he has a lot of money coming to him, and if they get rid of him, they can save a lot of money. But I think you'd be absolutely ignorant to get rid of him because you're going to bring in another receiver and do what? You're going to have to build continuity with Dak. Leave the pieces there. Don't figure out how to restructure. Bring in a nice safety. I really hope they make a run after Jesse Bates. I know you don't want to hear that, but
I don't think he leaves Cincinnati.
I really hope they do. I really hope they make a run. I think they're going to lose Randy Gregory. Make a run after Von Miller. Sign him to a 1-year deal to come to Dallas.
It's going to be weird next year with no Zeke Elliott in your backfield.
I don't.
They're trading that contract.
They can't trade it.
Why?
No one's taking that contract on.
You never know.
No one's taking that contract.
Buffalo might want to take it on.
Yeah, well, I hope. I mean, if he stays, I hope Tony Pollard gets some more carries because I think I wouldn't say we officially seen the end of Zeke because once again he battled injuries. He battled an MCL issue all year long. Props to you, Zeke. Still rushed for 1,000 yards with an MCL injury. But Cowboys just need to keep shit and keep your pieces there and just figure out how to restructure to add a couple extra pieces. You know, maybe a Stephon Gilmore on the other side or Jesse Bates in the safety position. Or I've seen it a lot, and I don't wholeheartedly disagree with it, but maybe move Trayvon Diggs to safety. I've seen people say that. He's a ball hawk. You could move him to safety to where he's not going to have to get beat on double moves. You just get him out there, tracking down balls. He's awesome at tracking a ball in the air. So what better position to play him at than safety? You know what I mean? So I don't know. We do got a couple other things we want to touch on. We're going to do this here. We're staying in the NFL. We do want to give you guys our top 10 teams going into next year. So we're gonna start. You guys want to start from 10 and go to 1?
That's fine.
So we're going to go ahead and give this a whirl. Who do you guys think should be our number 10 team? If we looked at it from a starting standpoint, and that's if we're saying we are going to have if we
Baltimore
do figuratively trades into it too.
I'm going to go Baltimore.
Baltimore at 10,
Mm-hmm.
Healthy Baltimore. Obviously, you're saying with all their pieces
I
back.
think they're 10.
I could see him being right there, right around 10. Actually, I think they're going to be a little higher. I think we should put Cleveland at 10 healthy.
So you're going to have 3 teams from the AFC North in the top 10?
They have the talent to do it. I mean, it's not.
I don't see Pittsburgh being there because they're going to rebuild.
No, they're going to rebuild.
Well, I guess that depends who they pick up as quarterback.
Yeah,
you know? I mean, if they go get Aaron Rodgers like people speculated, then
if they go get Aaron Rodgers,
they're
then we're going to have to ultimately say that they might be a top 5 team.
Maybe we should wait to do that top 10.
No, I said we can figuratively put in trades.
Okay.
Like if we think Aaron Rodgers is going to Denver or Pittsburgh, we can do that, or we just say he stays in Green Bay because he's in Green Bay. They are subject to change. We're just saying with our picks now, who we think running in.
Well, so if I go off of the fact that the 49ers might trade Garoppolo, I would put 49ers at 10. I still think they're a top 10 team with Trey Lance, but I don't think they're a top 5 like with Jim. Well, Jimmy, they'd be higher for me. But if Jimmy's gone, I think they're number 10. I think they'll fall.
That's not a bad one. And there's another one. You could have 3 teams from that division.
Mm-hmm. You still got the Rams in there in Arizona.
Yeah. And you can't count out Seattle if they do keep Russell Wilson.
Yeah, healthy. I mean.
Yeah, if they keep Russell Wilson.
Right.
I mean, I think that's a tough division. I think Cincinnati division's the AFC North's tough. And now.
So we're speculating that the Steelers don't get a quarterback. They don't get Aaron Rodgers.
Let's just say they draft somebody.
Okay.
Because I don't see Rodgers going there. I think Rodgers is either going to go to Denver or stay in Green Bay. I think them's the 2 teams where he chooses from.
Still think so.
So if the Steelers got a draft quarterback, I don't put them in the top 10.
Are you? Yeah, I don't put them in the top 10 if they're drafting a quarterback or if they're going with Dwayne Haskins or Mason Rudolph. So we're gonna have the Browns in the top 10. That's the only way I put the Niners at 10. They're not. The Niners with Trey Lance are not better than the Browns.
So you want to put who at 10?
He wants to put Cleveland.
So you wouldn't even put the Niners in the top 10?
No, I don't think they're going to be a top 10 team with Trey Lance. I mean, that's if you want to take – if you're not putting Cleveland in the top 10. If you put Cleveland in the top 10, then maybe we can sit them down there. But
I'll be all right with putting Cleveland at 10 or, I don't know. The only thing that they need to do in Cleveland is can Baker bounce back, and they need a number 1 receiver. If they can accomplish both of those things, then I could see Cleveland being at least number 10. If they don't, I don't see them in 10 at all.
So we're gonna go Browns at 10. If they get weapons, we're saying they do load Baker up and Baker comes back healthy. They have a stud defense that got better with the year, and then they do have one of the best running back tandems in all of football and a great offensive line.
I know this is gonna be controversial to you guys, but I think number 9's the Eagles.
I don't think that's controversial. I think Jalen Hurts can take another step. He just has to learn a little bit. They need to get more help.
I think Eagles goes in at number 8 or 9.
Nine.
I mean, yeah, 9.
So we're the Eagles. Yeah, I don't think the Eagles is a bad pick. I mean, they did succeed even with it low.
Bobby brought up a good point. He said Tennessee was the weakest number 1 seed, and I agree with that.
Yeah,
Tennessee did not deserve to be number 1 seed.
No, and I think they only got that because it took.
They only got that because Cincinnati beat Kansas City.
Yeah,
and that
and I just think it took Cincinnati so long It took
Kansas City so long to
actually warm up and get going. So yeah, I think we can go Eagles. You guys agree or?
I think. What do you think, Mooney?
Yeah, I'm looking. Yeah, it's. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, but then you guys just mentioned it at number 8. And they did go 12-5, and I believe they were the weakest number 1. I could put Tennessee at 8.
That is, well, I could put Tennessee at 9.
Either one, 8 or 9. I think they're that low. I mean, I still think they're a top 10 team. I don't think they're in a top 5.
What are they doing? Are they looking for a new quarterback? Or are they going to ride with Ryan? Are we just saying they're riding with Ryan Tannehill?
I say they ride with Tannehill because they did get him to where they are.
Right, and remember, Henry was out for.
And a lot of people rode Tannehill for that, while he was out.
Right.
Because everybody thought the Tennessee season was over when Henry went down.
Right.
Yeah,
and it didn't.
Do we move the So my question is here, before we go to 8, with the Eagles at 9, are the Eagles better than the Patriots next year?
No.
No.
I looked for Mac Jones to get better.
Yeah, I believe.
So we know our
Patriots
top-
are higher up on this list. They're in the top 10. I believe they are.
I mean, that's where I'm saying we're going to run it because we're going to have the Chargers. You know, the Chargers are going to be the Raiders with the new offensive head coach and offensive-minded head coach.
I think
who
Raiders I would
falls-
not put
who
in the
falls
top
out?
10 because of the coaching change.
Okay.
I think
all right.
Tampa falls out.
Tampa's going to fall out.
Tampa
yes.
falls out.
Yeah.
That's a big one that falls
I mean,
out.
when we look at it,
And I'm going to tell you that if Aaron Rodgers goes to Denver, Packers fall out.
about the Colts,
They're not missing anything. They still got Taylor. They still got Wentz. They're not
I
missing
still don't
big
put 'em in
pieces.
top
you
10.
don't think they're in the top 10?
I don't put them in
Really?
top 10.
I think they
So we're
will.
going to keep the Eagles at 9. So you
Just
guys-
because you don't know what wins you're going to get.
That's true. I get
That's
that
the
part,
only
'cause they
reason
did
why I
fall
say
apart.
that.
So we're going to keep the Titans at 8.
Yeah, Titans at 8. I think, it's a good, I think that's a
Yeah.
good one. I think Baltimore at 7.
Baltimore at 7. So
That's
we're getting
fine.
closer to the top 5.
I think Baltimore at 7 and Chargers at 6.
So we're eliminating the Cowboys out of the top 10.
Oh, yeah, they are in there, aren't they? I think they're 9. The Eagles.
They're not better than Eagles. Aren't better than the Cowboys.
That's what I'm saying. Eagles gone. Take the Eagles out. Put
I
Dallas.
think the
I
Cowboys.
have
Dallas
the
are better
Cowboys
than
in my
Titans.
top 5.
I think the Cowboys are better than the Titans.
That's why.
Yes.
That's why I said drop Titans. Put Dallas at 7 or 8.
I think 7 Cowboys. That's what my guess is 7.
That's
Cowboys.
fine with me.
6. Ravens.
I don't think the Ravens are better than Dallas.
Put Ravens where the Eagles are at 9.
So we're gonna take the Eagles out.
Yeah, I don't think the
Yeah, Eagles
now that I
fall
think
out of
about
the 10.
it. Yeah.
You can put Ravens there because they're definitely not better than Dallas.
So 6.
San Diego.
So will the Chargers be better than the Patriots?
Yes. So this is where you put the Patriots.
Yeah.
At 6.
Patriots, the Pats at 6.
Yeah.
So we got the Chargers at 5. Because we got the Rams,
'cause
the
then
Chiefs, the Bills,
Because I
the Bengals.
You know what? I think Titan.
That's all right. That should be. Yeah, I think it's a tough list, man. I think the Chargers could go at 5 and be all right.
this is going in the next season, so the
Yeah.
Bengals have to be on this list.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So we can go the Chargers
At
at
5,
5.
you still got the Bills
Still got the Bills. You
That's
still got
fine.
the Rams.
and the Chiefs.
You still got
I think-
Arizona.
I think the teams that I think we need to take.
I actually think,
I think
you
we
should
need
take Cleveland off the list.
I think the Cleveland Browns, when healthy, are better than the Arizona Cardinals.
I don't think so.
I was not a big fan. Cleveland,
What
2
hurt-
years in a row, the Cardinals fall apart in the second half.
Well, I can tell you what hurt Arizona was when Hopkins went down. The moment Hopkins got hurt, Murray's play went down.
They also have all these free agents too: James Conner, Chase Edwards.
Edmonds.
Edmonds is could be gone.
I think
J.J.
Green
Watt,
only
they
signed.
don't know.
I think Green only signed a 1-year
Yeah.
deal. I
Okay,
believe.
well, what about the Raiders?
We already said the Raiders. He don't think the Raiders.
I don't think the Raiders are
coaching
changing
change.
coaches. You know, that's always a hard one when you're first season with a new coach.
So I think at 4,
Bills.
think the Bills are better than the Rams. That's tough, dude. That's tough. I mean, going in. We're going into next
Bobby
year.
said
the
Arizona
Rams aren't missing
5.
pieces going in next year, and Odell's probably re-signing with them. Woods is going to be healthy. Rams are in a Super Bowl.
I think
You can't take them out of the top 3. I wouldn't think. What about?
I mean, do you do what ESPN and them do? And the top 2 teams are your 2 Super Bowl teams. I mean, that's what all your big, like ESPN and all those things, NFL Network. That's what your top 2 teams are your 2 Super Bowl teams, and then it kind of trickles down from that.
what we're basing on is the Bengals are going to be loaded again next year.
Where
All
we
their
at?
pieces are there.
Where
We're
we
at
at?
4.
We at number 4. So
The Chiefs aren't losing nobody.
we need
The Rams have pieces that they don't know are coming back. I mean,
I
Von
put
Miller,
Rams at 3 then.
So we need the next top 4? Is that where we're at? Next top 4?
I think the Rams at 4.
Rams.
I don't agree with that, but okay.
And then the Bills.
I think the Rams are better than the Bills.
I don't know.
No, the Rams are in the Super Bowl.
We're basing off this is next year. Odell Beckham's a free agent. Von Miller's a free agent. They have no first-round
But
picks.
Beckham already said he plans to re-sign with them.
Beckham says a lot of shit that no one ever wants to believe either.
No, I don't doubt. No, I don't believe that. But if he says he's going to resign, I believe he's going to resign.
There's a thing with that.
Plus, Woods is coming back healthy.
That's why I say Woods comes back next year. Is Beckham going to be okay falling to a number 3 receiver?
He won't be a number 3.
Yes, he will.
How won't he?
He's better.
They have Cup. They have Woods.
Than him.
So who?
Yeah.
You
You
know what I
guys are
mean?
going to tell me that Robert Woods is better than Odell?
At this point in their career, absolutely. Woods is a 90-catch, 1,000-yard guy every year. Baker ain't seen 90 catches in 4 years.
Your mom says nice wrestling belt.
I mean,
Bobby says Bengals number 4 because they're ahead of schedule.
they're bringing
Yeah,
back
but this is next year, so they're bringing everybody back.
Yeah, they're bringing back a fully loaded team offensively. If they patch up some pieces on the offensive line.
Defensively, the biggest person that's on the
You guys want to go Bills at 4 then?
Bills at 4.
Rams at 3? Because the Rams are in the Super Bowl. I get Mooney's point. They are playing in the Super Bowl. Or are the Rams better than that? Or Bengals at 3, Rams at 2?
I'm completely fine with putting Bengals at 3. I'm a Cincinnati fan.
So we got Rams 2,
I mean,
Chiefs 1.
Does that list change if the Bengals beat them in 2 weeks?
I mean, it's subject to change anyways. We could change it come tomorrow. I mean,
Right,
we're
but
doing this right off the top of our head.
I know. But if we put the Bengals at 3, Rams at 2, but the Bengals end up winning the Super Bowl, is that going to make them obviously better going into next season?
They still could be, like Bobby said, and like John, though, they are ahead of schedule. There is the possibility that they could win a Super Bowl and then fall apart next year.
I don't believe they're going to fall apart completely.
Well, I'm just saying as not be a Super Bowl caliber
Yeah,
team.
they may not be. I mean, it's a hard one. These top, we went with this when we did the top play. What was this? Our teams or quarterbacks or something like that. We just
Well, who do
you get this top couple here? It's hard because there's a lot of talent.
Bengals at 3.
So then it's gonna.
I say Rams and Chiefs.
That's what I said.
Now, here's my question: going into next year, what would make the Chiefs automatically number 1?
Because they're 4 straight AFC championships, dude. Until someone, I mean, they were knocked off, but they have shown that this is what they do every single year, year in and year out. None of these other teams have been to 4 straight AFC championship games.
Bobby says Bills 2, Chiefs 1.
I think Chiefs are the best team in football, built-wise, coached-wise. Their pieces are in.
I mean, I'm going to make the argument for the Rams, and I'm not a Rams fan, obviously. I think the Rams have a better built team than Kansas City, all the way around.
I believe that.
Offensively, maybe not quite as good, but defensively, Rams have a better defense than Kansas City. They have that's the only thing that hurts Kansas City, I think, is their defense. Their defense is not their strong point. Rams, all the way around, I think have a better built team. Now, I'm not saying better offense because I think Kansas City is one of the best offenses in the league, hands down. But to be a complete team, I think the LA is better built all the way around.
Now I'll say Chiefs have the better quarterback. I'll never say
Chiefs had a better.
They
coach.
have a better quarterback. I don't know if they have the better coach.
Oh, my God. I don't even think there's an argument
Dude,
there.
how
are you going against Andy Reid?
Andy Reid's the only coach to ever lead 2 teams to 4 straight AFC championship games. The only coach to ever do that. I'm sorry, Sean McVay does not hold a candle to.
Sean McVay's a good upcoming coach.
Oh, he's a great coach. Young
Andy
coach.
Reid is a great. He's an all-time great coach.
Andy Reid's a Hall of Fame coach.
Yes, it's not even comparable.
I just right now compare. Now, if you give Sean McVay the tenure that Andy Reid's had, yeah, then we can make that argument. But at this point in time, Sean McVay's only been head coach of 1 team with that same team. Andy Reid's done it with 2 different teams and built. Well, everybody said, "Well, yeah, he has a stacked team with Kansas City."
But he built it.
He built it. You look at Philadelphia. Can we say Don McNabb's a great quarterback? He goes anywhere else? No, we can't. We can't say he wouldn't be either. But I think Andy Reid is hands down one of the best coaches in the league.
Yeah, I think one of the greatest coaches of all time. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about that, I don't think.
I think if you compare the two teams, I think that the Rams have a better defense. They have a better team, more complete team.
But a lot of their defensive pieces are free agents. That's the thing, is that if going into next year, we don't know if these guys resign. That's the only thing is
the biggest free agent they have on defense is Von Miller, isn't it?
By what I was reading is they got a lot of. They think the Rams are in trouble because they have no first, second, or third round pick going into next year,
None.
and not a whole lot of. They have like $550,000 in cap space, so they're hoping some of these names like Jalen Ramsey and them take restructured deals in order to try. They want to re-sign Odell. They want to re-sign Von
I didn't
Miller.
know this, but Bobby said, "Can you believe that McVay beat out Megatron for Mr. Football?"
I think I heard that because he was
That blows my mind.
he was a quarterback. McVay was a quarterback.
Yeah.
So what are we doing at 2?
I think Kansas City, and then 1 is the Rams. Just if we do complete build, if we base it off what they have right now, complete team.
So we're just throwing out the 4 straight years of domination to.
Well, we're not looking at that. We're looking at the team, right?
Going into next year, yes.
Yeah, going into next year. So we don't know what's going to happen to St. Louis or to L.A.
But what I'm saying is we know Kansas City's not really losing anybody. So they're bringing the same team back, unlike we don't know if the Rams are. There's just a possibility, you just said it, that Odell doesn't return. So is that Rams offense just as potent?
If they got Woods back, yeah.
Would they be better, though, with Odell? Because Odell has been a big piece of their playoff success.
That's where this is hard to do this without knowing where people's going to be and what they're doing.
So we can go Chiefs-Rams.
I'm just saying if we base it off the team they have now, I say, I look at, you'd have to agree as a complete wholeness, Rams right now is a better complete team. As far as, and I'm not saying as far as.
I get it. Their defense is better.
Yeah, their defense, and I'm not saying their offense is better than Kansas because I don't believe that, but.
It rivals.
I'm just gonna throw this out here. But in the AFC Championship game with the Bengals, did the Bengals show the NFL something about Patrick Mahomes they hadn't seen yet?
I have no idea what that means.
By how bad he played.
He didn't play bad though.
The second half,
horrible.
The second half, second half he had a 1.9 quarterback rating. A second half of the ball game, but I think, and that's where do we give credit to Taylor there for the the second half changes. Me and you talk about it. The changes that they had made, the adjustments. Is that where that's what makes a good coach?
I put the second half debacle on Andy Reid. Andy Reid did not make no adjustments again. Dude, I think literally the Bengals went in with the same exact adjustment that they did the first time. This is what they're beating us on, so we're going to change it up to take that away. And then they just decided we're not even going to run the same damn plays. Not at all.
But Andy Reid came out in the first half of the game and beat up on Cincinnati. Patrick Mahomes threw 3 touchdown passes, 220 some passes.
All of them most of them were check downs for big plays. He was checking down in the flats all day long to McKinnon, and he did not do that in the second half whatsoever. He all of a sudden he was running slant patterns with Tyreek Hill. He was running curl patterns with Travis Kelce. He did that not at all in the second half.
But then I feel like you're taking credit away from Cincinnati's
No, I'm not.
defense.
I'm just saying Cincinnati adjusted the way they should. All coaching. Burrow made some big plays on some sacks that should have happened where he scrambled out of it, got away with it miraculously because a couple of them he was legitimately in the grass, broke away. Great fucking plays. The Chiefs showed no adjustments. They did nothing. They did nothing to adjust to the adjustments that Cincinnati did. So Cincinnati ultimately deserved the win that they got, while somebody has to take the blame in Kansas City, and it ultimately goes to Andy Reid did not have a second half adjustment that he should have.
There's a play I'm going to talk to you guys about. In the overtime, when they intercepted Mahomes and then they were running, they handed the ball to Mixon. Mixon ran, and it got him into field goal position. Did you guys realize he was not touched down?
Yeah, I know. I said that during the game. He also threw that ball away too.
He dropped the ball.
I thought that's why they challenged it.
Yeah, he did try to challenge it, but the whistle they only come from the upstairs, so that's why it was never challenged.
No,
That was an accident.
I think they said in the game that he was trying because there was an illegal formation you guys ran on that same play. You covered up the tight end. You had eight.
Because they said they listed him eligible on that play. They listed him eligible. That's why.
But they lined up wrong.
But they lined up wrong. Is what Tony Romo said that on there. They were trying to challenge
and the
illegal
ref
formation.
said you can't challenge
that. So he ultimately said, "Okay, give it back."
So nobody even on the field of play,
no one even noticed that he
even
was never
noticed the
even
whole.
touched.
See,
the whole
that's
not
what
being touched.
Andy Reid said that the challenge he was trying to do was that play.
Well, they never said that during the game.
That's what he said in the interview he had was
Oh,
that they
I
were
didn't see the
trying to
interview.
challenge. He was trying to challenge because Mixon wasn't touched. He thought that Mixon wasn't touched, and the ref informed him that in the overtime they only
upstairs can do it.
upstairs can do it. So that's why it was
Well, I
never
think
done.
that needs to change anyways.
So
That's
I'm
retarded.
like, I mean,
I think
and I didn't watch it real slow mo, but it did look like he was never.
He was not
touched.
touched. They showed it. He was never touched. He jumped up and then just threw the ball. I said it to you, didn't I, Mooney? I said, that's a fucking fumble. He was not touched. He got up, just tossed the ball away, and then the Chiefs players grabbed it. They grabbed the ball and took off running with it. So it was like, I mean, it is what it is. The game happened. Much respect to the Cincinnati Bengals. They outplayed them. They outworked them. They outgame planned them. That is what they did.
The biggest game changer in that game was when they stopped him before half.
Once again, Andy Reid.
Yep, he should have kicked the field
No.
goal.
He should have
Well,
kicked
and
the
that's
field goal.
but the
I'm
quarterback.
I'm not giving him. No, I don't give a
Mahomes
shit.
came out and said, "No, give us one more. We got this. We got
and
this."
as a head coach, you say
and he should have said, "Well," but he put the trust in his star player, which he shouldn't have. He should have said, "Let's just go for the points." Mahomes is the one that said, "No, we got this. We'll get this." Well, they didn't get it.
Yeah, well, it's stupid. It's where you, as Andy Reid,
But that's
you go
where
for
you.
it.
But that's where you go. Okay, do you trust your star player, or do you not trust him?
Yeah, you trust him, but not in that. In that situation, it's common sense as a head coach. You kick the field goal.
I agree. I'm not arguing. that.
You look at Patrick Mahomes and say, "I trust you," but no, it's 5 seconds to go. We have no timeouts. We're kicking the field goal. We don't lose that game.
I agree. I'm
I
just
mean,
saying.
that doesn't
What was you
mean
going to say, Mooney?
We talked about Aaron Rodgers in his game where he put up 225 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions, and kind of say, "You're Aaron Rodgers. You're a star, and you couldn't even give a touchdown." So part of the game is to blame on you. Well, Mahomes was garbage in the second half, but
Yeah.
we're not putting any blame on him. It's all on Andy Reid all of a sudden.
No, well, he
So-
still deserves his blame, but he gave him a 3-touchdown lead, man.
He did.
Come on now.
He
That's
did.
like Matt Ryan gave the Falcons a 25-point lead. You're not blaming Matt Ryan for losing that game in the Super Bowl.
So is it to blame the
You blame
defense?
Come on, bro. That's a non-justable argument whatsoever. It's
No, that's
Andy
an
Reid's.
argument.
It's Andy
It's an
Reid's fault.
argument.
He
So
gave
is it
you
the defense's fault
an
then?
18-point lead. It's bad coaching. You should have had a 21-point lead technically if you kicked the
But if
field
they
goal
had a
at the end of the half.
3-touchdown lead and then they come back and win, that would be the defense let up.
Who do you blame?
Right?
Who do you blame for the Super Bowl loss?
No, I'm asking, if you have a 3-touchdown lead, then you lose the game, that would be the defense. The defense ended up giving up.
Yeah,
The defense got torched.
You could say that.
I mean, I am saying because that's what happened. I mean, if you have a
But-
3-touchdown lead, but your defense can't hold it, obviously your defense couldn't hold up the
Not
3-touchdown
just,
lead.
but this is where the whole, like with the Atlanta thing, the Atlanta game, the Super Bowl with New England. Everybody blamed, well, Atlanta's defense came out and played shitty, or Matt Ryan couldn't come out and turn the ball over, or no, maybe it was Tom Brady came out and adjusted well, played better against that defense, and then New England's defense came out, made adjustments, and won the game. We all want to point the finger at the opposing team because it's their fault, because they were winning, they should have held the lead. Maybe just that other team made good adjustments. And I'm not saying that, I'm just throwing this out there for argumentative purposes. Just the same with Cincinnati.
It's a 25-point lead, dude.
It doesn't matter.
Come on. They threw the ball and threw the ball and threw the ball and threw the ball. Everybody knows, you've seen the narrative, you've watched the games. The Atlanta Falcons came out and just kept throwing the fucking ball. They're up 17 points, and you're not running the ball. They're not chewing no clock away. They're just throwing the ball, leaving more time.
They did the same thing they did in the first half.
Yeah, it's what?
But it worked in the first half. That's why they didn't change it.
But once you get that big lead, at some point as a head coach,
I agree.
you have to look at it as we need to start dwindling this clock.
Trust me, I was yelling at Zach Taylor, just kick the damn field goal.
Yeah, I mean,
stop running the ball.
At
Kick
some
the
point,
field goal.
you can't keep giving the ball back to Tom Brady, and that's what they kept doing. And sooner or later, he's that great. He's going to beat you. You're stupid enough to keep doing it. Ultimately, you start out 0-5 the next year. You got fucking fired. You weren't a good head coach. That is what it is. Talent outweighed everything there in Atlanta. Andy Reid just coached bad. He coached poorly. Cincinnati come out with a better fucking game plan in the second half, and Andy Reid showed no adjustments to it. Should Patrick Mahomes have played better? Yes, but Patrick Mahomes threw a really nice throw to Tyreek Hill. Jesse Bates just made the better play. He came in, deflected a ball. Von Miller picked it off.
It went in the right direction at that point.
Yeah, that was a perfectly thrown ball by Patrick Mahomes. It's just Jesse Bates brought his hand in between Tyreek Hill's hand, pushed it to Von Miller. It's a beautiful play. The star stepped up. The star of your guys' defense stepped up and made a play. That's what you want your start. That's what you want your start. This is what you pay Jesse Bates to do.
Step up when it counts and when need to be.
And that's what he did.
You know, and that's what I'm saying. I'm not going to point the blame at Mahomes or point the blame at Andy Reid.
It's a complete Chiefs debacle, and that Cincinnati took advantage of it.
Yep, it was Cincinnati made some adjustments, came out and played better.
They deserve it.
And it was a good game.
Joe Burrow, your guys' stars made the plays.
When
Joe
they
Burrow
needed to.
could have went down on them 3 sacks, and we're not talking about this right now.
Oh, yeah.
On that drive alone, he had 2 sacks. He broke loose and ran. Even Mooney looked over at me, was like, did he just do that? Did he just break them 2 sacks and run for 14 and 10 yards? Without them 2 plays, that was 3rd down and 14 when he broke that fucking sack and ran it for 14 yards. You don't get the ball back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So your stars stepped up. Cincinnati did what they had to do. They won the game. Congratulations, Cincinnati Bengals. You made the Super Bowl.
I must have actually said Von Miller when I was talking about Bell. One of us did. I don't know if it was me or whoever.
Or Von Bell. It's probably me.
Yeah,
Von Bell made the pick. Yeah. Jesse Bates knew what he was doing. He tipped it right to him. Beautiful play. Beautiful. Congrats, Cincinnati. Once again, go the Rams. We're gonna have the Rams at 1. Rams at 1, Chiefs at 2.
So that leads us to the Super Bowl picks.
Yeah, let's get that, and then we'll knock that out. God, I don't even know how to pick this game, dude. I really have no idea. Go pick it first.
It's unfair for me to pick first. So Mooney,
No, it's not unfair.
I'm going. Obviously, I'm going to go.
We know
Cincinnati.
you're going Cincinnati.
I went with them all. Not neither my team. I went with them all year, and I feel confident that Cincinnati can get this. I think they face tougher defenses this year than what they have. I mean, I think the line in Tennessee was just what they did to Cincinnati was huge. But didn't batter Joe. I think Joe Burrow is going to be the X factor in this game when it comes to how much Aaron Donald and all those guys can get to him. I think he's going to be the X factor. But I look for Cincinnati to win. I feel that Kansas City's got a better offense than what and got a better quarterback than what the Rams have. I think they're going to be able to get pressure to Stafford, put the pressure on him, and really make some bad choices with them throws. The matchup I'm really excited to see is Ramsey against Chase. I'm excited to see that. Excited to see how it's going to play out because that's who he's going to be on, who he's going to be lined up against. So that'll be interesting to see that. I mean, Rams have a lot of weapons. Tim's probably hating me for this. Because he just said Rams because too much on that defense. You can say that's his opinion. He said you ain't faced a line like the Rams. Well, you can say that too, but Tennessee's line's pretty tough.
It was, but
and he's right. Aaron Donald and those guys are all
I think
superstars.
If Cincinnati can keep Joe Burrow upright, I think they can win the game.
I do too. And that's why I said I think he's going to be the X factor.
Ultimately, I think I'm going with the Rams. I do think Aaron Donald.
Voted against them all
I have,
year.
and I'm gonna keep it. I just think Aaron Donald's a fucking force, dude. And Von Miller has been playing his ass off in the playoffs. Ramsey, he's gonna need help. He bites on double moves like crazy. So I think they ultimately probably I would hope they're smart enough. Raheem Morris is smart enough to take a page from Kansas City, and they just double him all goddamn day long. So You drop Eric Weddle over or whoever they play at safety, and they double chase all game long, and they say, well, I mean, we'll see if Joe can drop back. I have faith. I think it's going to be a really good game. I'm going Rams. Like a 17-14 game.
He goes,
So I'm impressed. The Rams go out and get Matt Stafford, which is what they needed. They're in the Super Bowl. We know one of the biggest reasons because they got Stafford. I'm impressed with what they do. Their defense. They're a hard team to beat. But you go to Cincinnati and they got Joe Burrow.
And the game's at home. That's why I wanted to
and
also
they're
playing in
They're
LA.
playing in their home stadium, which is retarded. That's only the second time it's ever happened in Super Bowl history. Tampa Bay being the other time.
Last year.
Right.
Yeah.
So
home field advantage plays a big part.
it does. But Cincinnati's got Burrow. Burrow's, I think, is a hell of a quarterback. They got a great receiving core. Their defense came along. Their offensive line is, I think, their only weakest point on their team. So I can't see Cincinnati beating the Rams. It'll be a close game. I don't think it'll be high scoring, but I think Stafford is on another level right now. I think that team's on another level. Like you said, Aaron Donald, he's just how do you eliminate him?
I mean, he blows up really good offensive lines.
Yeah. And this is a bad offensive line. I don't know if it's the worst, but
it is the worst in the league.
Okay.
Yeah, they
well,
said
there
it's
you
the
go.
worst in the
And
league.
You're going
yeah.
up against the best interior defensive lineman that God has ever created.
And then Von Miller harassing people.
Do I think Cincinnati can win the game?
I
Yes.
think they have a chance.
I
If
think they
keep him
can
on-
win
if
the
they-
game.
Yeah, if they keep him
I'm just
upright.
picking the Rams, but I think Cincinnati, and I hate doing it because I picked against Cincinnati and they kept proving me wrong. They have a shot. I just think the Rams.
I don't think it's as easy as what people think.
I
it's
think
gonna be.
Cincinnati's got a better offense than what San Francisco was when they played.
They have a better quarterback. Yes, they do.
You know, I
Yeah.
just.
But they also had a better offensive line too.
And as far as now,
Cincy's offensive line is what scares me, dude.
Right,
That's the
and that's
only
what I
thing
said,
that's
it's a
really
weak point.
keeping me from saying Cincy wins this.
and
Because I think their quarterback is great. I love Joe.
neither quarterback's ever been to the Super Bowl, but Stafford's been in the league a long time. I don't know if these nerves are getting to him. I know it's a Super Bowl, you get nerves, but the man's been in the league a long time. He's been doing this at a high level, so he has the edge as far as experience, and he's talented.
But I can't. I don't know if I agree with that because Burrow has played in big games. You know, the national title game's huge game. And he's played well in all the big games he's played in. He's undefeated in all the big games he's played in. So I can't really say. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's the Super Bowl. I think he's going to have a little bit of nerves there, but I don't think it's going to be as bad as somebody that has never played in a national championship game or has never played, in big situations like that. I don't think his nerves are going to be the best of him.
I mean, Sam Bradford did come out of the SEC. We can't act like he didn't play in big games in college.
You mean Stafford?
Or Stafford's what I meant to say. Yeah. So I mean, he played in a legitimate conference going throughout college.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like the Georgia Bulldogs were trash when he was drafted number 1 overall.
Yeah.
That was a good program he played for. Yes, I do think when it comes to Burrow having that national championship atmosphere just 2 years ago could help him a bit. My ultimate deciding factor is if Cincinnati can keep him up, they have a great chance. If not, they could upset him.
And
being at home,
I'm going to tell you that my X factor for the Rams on defense is Eric Weddle. For me, he's the X factor.
depending on what they do with him.
If they
run
use
in
him the
double,
way that he can be used, the way he used to be used, it's going to be a problem.
I think they need to use him how they just used him. He's a tackling machine.
Yeah, he had 10, 12 tackles in that game.
Because one of them
this dude
safeties,
played-
I think,
he
is
could-
literally
because
they're gonna
Weddle can play up in the
they're gonna
box.
Double chase.
Oh, they're going to. That's what Kansas City did. Double chase a lot, and Romo pointed that out. He's been doubled all day,
You make him work. He's
Yeah.
got to work and work and work.
and he
work.
still. I think he still did 60-some yards and a touchdown. So not an awful day for him. Not his typical big day, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean,
I've been, and I haven't been wholeheartedly against Cincinnati. I just think they are overachieving, but that's what you get when you get a star-studded quarterback like you got with the really nice receiver and a great coaching staff. So, our top 10 once again, guys. It's subject to change. Was the Browns 10, Ravens 9, Titans 8, Cowboys 7, Pats 6, Chargers 5, Bills 4, Bengals 3, Chiefs 2, Rams 1.
See, you just repeated it, and it had me thinking that the Cowboys are better than the Patriots.
We did this off the top of our head, so it is subject to change by Thursday. So this list could look a little different when coming in. We did miss a topic, but we're gonna wait till Thursday. But other than that, man, we've had you guys for about 2 hours, just at 2 hours, right? Pretty close. But I think we're gonna have to end out today. We had some good subjects. Thanks again for the people who sat and listened to us, man. We really appreciate it. We're still growing. I'm Mike Ash.
I'm John.
Big country.
Hey, we'll see you guys Thursday.